What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be watching a legendary drop video called Judgment Day Has Come for Live Service Games. So we'll take a look at that. We're going to go over an article called from Screen Rant for Kraven the Hunter ended its box office run just recently as Sony Spider-Man's universe biggest bomb of all time. So we'll talk about that as well. We're also going to talk about we were talking about Captain America Brave New World the other day that people are not really advertising, like the company is not advertising for it. But yet now the articles are out talking about how, it's only $180 million that it cost the movie, but that's not true. It's about half of what the actual movie cost, and how they say the projections are going to be like the best since, 6 years ago, which is also not true. So we're going to show you a bunch of different articles about what's being shown and what actual is what their budget is. So we'll talk about that as well. We're also going to go over any other news that pops up throughout the show. We do the morning scroll through Twitter. So if you guys like what we do here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. I do appreciate you coming out, hanging out with us. We do have a goal. We put it up there every single day for started at the beginning of February, but it goes till we can get a brand new computer. So if you'd like to help us out, we have a goal. It's not a bar at the bottom of the screen or anything like that. It's all super chats will go towards me getting a new computer. My computer is 8 years old. As you can tell, if you're here every single day, we have problems with the computer. So we're gonna make a new computer. We're gonna build a new computer. So that's that's the goal for super chats. So if you want to help out, do the super chats. If not, you don't have to pay for anything. All our content here is absolutely free. Enjoy the uploads, the live shows, the podcast, the gameplay, all that stuff. I do appreciate you for your time. If you're here for 1 second, 1 minute, or 1 hour, I do appreciate you very much. What's going on, Haley? What's going on, Big Mad Mo? What's going on, Eclipse, Roic, Z, Roadkill, House, Wonder Rose? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How's everyone doing? We played a game the last 2 nights called Eternal Stranded. It's a Game Pass game. It's also, I think, a $40 game. I think Travis said it it's everywhere. It's not just on Game Pass. I started playing it 2 days ago, and the initial 3 hours, I was a little like skeptic. Not skeptic. I was a little like underwhelmed with the game. But around like just past 3 hours, it started clicking for me, like, because you're going around getting materials, you're going against bosses, and the bosses drop certain materials. It almost kind of reminds me of, again, not a one-to-one comparison, but like a Monster Hunter / Dauntless type of thing. Yesterday we played, and we upgraded a lot of stuff, and we went against a lot of boss battles. And let me tell you, the dragon fight that I had, the very first one, I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know how to kill it. I didn't know what I could do. I couldn't get around. We were low on health. But the second dragon I killed, I like froze it, jump on its back, and then it started flying in the air while I'm on its back, stabbing it with the sword. And I was like, this is awesome. Okay. So we had like a big battle against the dragon. We had a big battle against like a giant stone guardian. We also went against another sort of like a reptile type of creature. It's actually a pretty good game. Lots of dialogue. The voice acting is actually pretty good. Is it co-op? I don't think it's co-op, Dolphin. And good morning, by the way. I don't know if it's co-op. I don't think it is. But it's actually becoming a pretty good game, and especially for that like $40 price tag. I think it's, if you're looking for a game, if nothing really interests you, check out a couple of videos. You can check out my gameplay if you want. But check out Eternal Stranded. It seems pretty good. We're going to continue playing it. It hooked me at the end. The graphics, or I should say the level and stuff is nice looking. The graphics are nice looking. It's got a little bit of jank. In the combat system, and it's wonky. Every once in a while, you like hit something, and all of a sudden you go flying. You go flying in the air and whatnot. You like grab onto certain things. It's the first game that these guys have made from this studio. Eclipse was telling me yesterday that the people that are making this game are the old people that used to make BioWare games. So I could tell it's a nice game, but it still needs, it seems like it needs a little bit more time to cook. But still an entertaining game, so check it out. It's called Eternal Stranded. What's going on, Kylo? Al says, I'm looking to get a Resin 7 9800X3D. I don't know what that is. I'll be honest. I don't know what that is. I haven't started looking into computers yet to upgrade. I just know that I need a new computer. So we're going to, once we get the funds, from saving up, and then from whatever else, hopefully later this year, we'll start pricing and looking together. And maybe what I'll do is when we start getting closer, I'll start asking what you guys think I should get, and we'll get your input on me creating the actual computer. Kylo says, I bought the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Man, the game is stunning visually. I want to get it, Kylo, but I don't know if I'm going to jump in. Like, right now, we're playing Eternal Stranded, right? We're playing Eternal Stranded, and then I was like, I want to play Avowed. Now, I'm playing Eternal Stranded. I think what's going to happen here is Avowed's going to come out. I'm going to start playing Avowed, and Eternal Stranded is going to go off to the side. But then, like, the next game comes down the line, and I might push Avowed off to the side. So I got to focus. I think I'm going to try to complete Eternal Stranded first, and then we're going to jump into Avowed. And maybe down the line, Kingdom Come Deliverance comes in. I don't know. It looks like a great game. I've been watching a lot of gameplay. I've been watching Carnage play it. I want to play it. I think it'd be interesting. But at the same time, it's probably not in my cards right now. The clip says, yeah, apparently they only had 30 people while making the game, and now they're at 60, so maybe the next one could be better. Oh, that's good news. That's good news. Yeah, Eternal Strands, Sarge. It's on Game Pass. It's actually pretty good. Strands. 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 Yeah. Like a thread, like a strands of thread. Kyle says, make sure you buy a reputable place at Crowded House. Been a big problem with fake ones floating around recently. I got it for $48 on CD keys. Oh, see, that's nice. Yeah, if I get it, it'll be on the console. Because if I get it on PC, I can't stream it. We're having problems streaming PC games. So, because they're just getting too intensive, and my motherboard is an i7 6700, which is like on the tail end for a lot of stuff. Kingdom Come Deliverance could be your weekend game. Yeah, if I wasn't playing other games on the weekend. On the weekends, Mo, I play like Minecraft with my son. I play Fortnite with my son. I'll play Marvel Rivals. I picked up Wayfinder. I have a lot of games. I have a lot of games that I have on the weekend. My weekend's gone. All right, let's start off with Kraven here. We'll start off with a movie thing today. We got more entertainment news today than we do actually gameplay. A lot of the game news today I looked at, I was just like, I don't care. That's not interesting, or it just nothing. Nothing really going on. So if you guys like what I do here, we do cover news stories, have conversations. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. So Kraven the Hunter ended its box office run as Sony Spider-Man's universe biggest bomb. And it's explained why the studio is right to remove its 2025 Marvel movie release date. Now, we thought Madam Web was the bottom of the barrel. We thought Morbius. First, we thought Morbius. Now, this is not just shitting on Disney. This is shitting on Sony's movie division. Okay, the only thing they can do really well is Spider-Man. Venom did pretty well, and then each Venom movie afterwards got less and less. But when Morbius came out, people were like, "This is bad," right? And then Madam Web was like, "Hold my beer," and we're like, "There's no way a movie can be worse than Madam Web." And then we had a separate movie called Borderlands, which was absolute just bad. Okay, and then we have Kraven. Okay, Kraven out here. Kraven over here. Worst movie ever. Okay, for Sony. So Kraven the Hunter broke a major negative record for Sony's Spider-Man universe, and the film's performance seals the deal for the spin-off Marvel franchise that never really took off. Okay, well, the spin-off of Morbius, spin-off of Madam Web, and the spin-off of Kraven sealed the deal of there ain't doing nothing with this franchise, these other characters. Okay, never really took off, and the SSU started. Okay, that's Sony's universe. Okay, Sony's Spider-Man universe. Started in 2018 with Venom. While Tom Hardy's Venom films have been successful, each subsequent entry of the franchise did less and less at the box office than its predecessor. Adding to that, the rest of the movie's list did not fare well at the box office, with Morbius, Madam Web, and Kraven the Hunter failing. Each one failed. Okay. After Kraven the Hunter released, it was reported that it also would serve as the final movie in the Sony Spider-Man verse, or the universe. The studio also has plans of Spider-Man characters who also continue to appear on upcoming Sony/Marvel films and series, like the animated Spider-Verse franchise, Nicolas Cage Spider-Man Nor live-action series, and Tom Holland's continued presence of the MCU as Peter Parker, and more. The final box office numbers for Kraven the Hunter make it clear that Sony is right to end the shared universe right now. I mean, they gave it a shot. Good for you. Good for you. They gave it a shot, but at the same time, they didn't do a very good job, right? So Kraven the Hunter's box office is the worst of Sony Spider-Man's universe. Okay, Kraven the Hunter has finished its world box office run at only $61.8 million. This led to Aaron Taylor Johnson, SSU film, breaking a couple of major negative records for the franchise. Can I just say, this man was already a superhero in the Marvel universe, okay? He was Quicksilver, okay? And then he went on to be Kraven. I hate when they do this. I hate when they take an actor, okay, that was prominent. It doesn't always work, okay? Obviously, Chris Evans was Human Torch, and he became Captain America, and he became a better Captain America than he was Human Torch. But it's really hard for characters to be a prominent character, okay, and then move on over to another character, okay? So Taylor Johnson, not only did Kraven the Hunter, now lowest grossing movie of the Sony Cinematic Universe history here, okay, but it became the only entry in the franchise not to pass $100 million market, okay, at the box office. Madam Web and Morbius, other two box office bombs, grossed $100.5 million, that just squeaked by, and $167.4 million respectively. Now, Sony's Spider-Man franchise is lacking the character and could also help succeed. Now, the news from Kraven the Hunter's box office totals comes after Sony put the final nail in the coffin, as the SSU also, after it reported that the studio is moving from the Spider-Man spin-off franchise. Sony made the reality by removing all untitled Marvel movies from its 2025 release schedule. The film would also have been released in theaters on June 27th, 2025, while the SSU ends its whimper of Tom Holland's Spider-Man's thriving in the MCU. Two of the three Spider-Man movies passed $1 billion, and Spider-Man 4 and the Avengers film appearance on the way. The lack of Spider-Man, despite the character's tilting Sony's Marvel spin-off party, led to the franchise downfall. However, Sony appears to be going all in on the character from now on. This is the best strategy for the studio to recover from the box office bombs like Kraven the Hunter. With the Spider-Verse movies making fans invested in the multiple multiverse versions of Spider-Man, Sony could also keep Tom Holland, Peter Parker in the MCU, and use characters like Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen in live action, with Nicolas Cage, the new Spider-Man's Nor series, pointing out the change direction for the studio. So let me show you what Kraven did here, okay? Domestically, Kraven made $25 million. That's crazy. Okay, $25 million. Internationally, it made $36 million. And worldwide, it made $61.9 million, just shy of $62 million. Now, the budget for this movie supposedly was $110 million. $110 million, that's before the budgeting for the market, okay, for the marketing for it. So we're talking 200, maybe 250 million with marketing, and it made less than $62 million. So this was definitely a bomb. Madam Web, basically the same thing. Their budget was around the same budget as this one. Same with Morbius. All three movies have lost over $200 million apiece for each of these films. Now, Spider-Man made close to $2 billion, did it not? I mean, Spider-Man, the last Spider-Man film, made almost close to 1.6 or something like that, which is ridiculous, okay? Which is absolutely ridiculous. And now you look at it and go, it doesn't really matter if Venom, Venom 2, Venom 3, Kraven, Madam Web, and Morbius didn't make money, even though Venom did make money. But what I'm showing you is 6 films could have all bombed, and Spider-Man, which the budget, let's say, was $180 to $200 million, made close to $2 billion. So it doesn't really matter if all these other movies bomb. Now, obviously, as Sony doesn't want to have movies bomb like this, but they're also not putting out 10 movies a year or in the franchise. But I think it was a bad move to do the villains as a lead character in any of things, right? Now, if something is right with the comic book realm is that we like our heroes, okay, and we like to see them go up against bad guys. We don't like to see bad guys, which they kind of make like they're like antagonists, protagonists, you know what I mean? They're like anti-superhero. They're not good guys, but they're not bad guys. And this just seems very strange, right? Maybe, just maybe, if they had the balls to do this, if they made a bad guy film where the bad guy was the good guy, you see what I'm saying? Because you're rooting for the bad guy, and he's going up against the good guy. So if it was from a Kraven perspective, and he's going up against Spider-Man, and in his point of view, Spider-Man is the bad guy, and what he's doing is the good guy type of thing, then you might go for that. But taking these bad guy characters, these villains, right, like a Joker, okay, and turning him into like this good guy, not bad guy type of thing, just not going to go, because you need to have an antagonist, right? You can't just have this like generic thing that's going on for the bad guy to interact with. You have to have some sort of story, and that's why a lot of these things don't fly, right? Especially with Morbius and Kraven. I wouldn't want to see like a Doc Ock movie. I don't know about you guys. I would be okay if Doc Ock was in a film. I would be okay if Carnage was in a film, but I'm not okay with Carnage having its own separate movie where it's a bad guy, but they make it into like a good guy type of thing. You know what I mean? But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below or in the live chat. What do you think about Sony moving forward by just dropping this? And they're going all in on Spider-Man, right? So they're going to jump in not just on Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but they're going in on Miles Morales Spider-Man. They're going in with Gwen Spider-Man. They're bringing in Nor Spider-Man with Nicolas Cage. Is this going to backfire in their face because they're just pulling too much from that one tree of Spider-Man? That's the difference between Sony owning just one franchise, right, of the Spider-Man universe, which is a big universe, but Marvel owns all of these things, right? And they're threading each of the things, right? Like we had phase 1, 2, and 3 all combined. They try to do that with 4, 5, and now 6, but there's plenty of different characters and different stories they can tell. Over here, it's the same thing. It's just Spider-Man, just different types of Spider-Man. And I think that could get really old really quick for them if they don't, pay attention to what they're doing. But again, these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of the other videos. Thanks for watching. JW, thank you very much for the 18 months. 18 months. Let me scroll back up here. We were busy at work. Just wanted to drop in by and say, hey, have a great day, my man. I don't know if you're still here, but I appreciate you for the 18 months. Have a great day at your work. Kylo says, oh, no, you're talking about House 30. Nick Cage show looks interesting. It looks interesting, Travis, but I have when you start pulling the same thing, right? Look, we all think we could eat pizza every single day, right? We love pizza. Oh, man, I would love pizza. And then we change the pizza, right? We put like pepperoni on pizza. Maybe you do like a Hawaiian pizza. Maybe you do a barbecue chicken pizza. You do Sicilian pizza, right? You can make pizza lots of different ways. But you know what? At the end of the day, if you keep eating pizza every single day, you're going to get tired of pizza. You see what I'm saying? And I think like Sony could have this problem where they keep going back to this well of Spider-Man, and one year it's Tom Holland's Spider-Man, or if it's the MCU, and then the next time it's Gwen, and then the next one is Miles Morales. And I just feel at the end of the day, people are going to get tired of Spider-Man because you're overwhelming them with too much Spider-Man. 30 also looked like a Black Widow no matter who she plays, and all we're going to see is Black Widow. Oh, for the Jurassic Park stuff? Yeah. Crowded says, why is this I can't make a good movie? Are you not investing in the right people to make these films? I think the problem is Sony looked at what Marvel had, and they're like, can we do that with our brand? We own Spider-Man. Is there other things we can do except Spider-Man? Because they were only making Spider-Man films because they didn't want to lose that license, okay? And Disney, I said this years ago, was really smart because they said, hey, we'll pay you a lot of money to bring Spider-Man in to the MCU. And that was fantastic, right? People were like, oh my God, with the Civil War and stuff like that. People were really excited to see that. And then bringing Doctor Strange and doing that crossover type of thing. Very smart move. Disney made a lot of money there. But in their heads, I think they were playing 4D chess. Okay. They were playing 4D chess with Sony because they know that Spider-Man in this universe will be huge. But Spider-Man off trying to do with your own thing is going to be bad. And now it's backfired on their face, right? Three films of the 6 films they tried to make outside of Spider-Man, with using Spider-Man as the main character. 3 Venom. Venom all were successful, okay? But that's Venom because people really like Venom, right? But then Kraven, Madam Web, and Morbius all bombed dramatically. So now they're like, what should we do? They cancel all the rest of their movies. They're doing that Spider-Man Noir, TV series, and we'll see what happens with it. But this might backfire on their face, so much so that Sony, in the future, I would say within the next 10 years or so, they might sell it back because they're like, this is doing more harm than good. Eclipse says, so stupid. They did the Venom and Kraven, and they're both bad guys. Venom's is a little bit more anti-hero, but it was also still bite your head off. And Kraven's not an anti-hero at all, right? But the problem is, look, this would be a problem with Darth Vader as well, right? We know Anakin before he became Darth Vader. But if you have a Darth Vader film, if it's done in a way where it's very dark, where it ends like Empire Strikes Back type of thing, it could be cool because he's the bad guy. You're not supposed to like the bad guy. For majority of the people, the bad guy needs to be the bad guy. You can't have a Darth Vader movie and then have a badder bad guy to make him look like the good guy. You see what I'm saying? There's the big difference in when you bring in a bad guy, the bad guy has to have a bigger bad guy, which then makes that bad guy not a bad guy anymore. We like Darth Vader because he's Darth Vader. If they made a standalone Darth Vader film, it would have to be just dark the entire time because he is the bad guy. You can't sympathize. Yeah, you can't be sympathetic to villains. Travis says, I know you're a big Resident Evil guy, but someone asked me, or you're not. I know you're not a big Resident Evil guy. Asked it the other night, like, how would you redeem Whisker? You don't. Some guys, you need to be evil, unapologetic about it. Right? Bad guys are bad guys. Like, I don't want a movie of Dr. No, okay? His POV of him and James Bond. I get it. Bad guy thinks the good guy is the bad guy, and they think they're the good guy. But from a storytelling point of view, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Tomar, what's going on? Pop and Main. Deion Taylor for Blade movie. No, he did a black and blue, really good movie with horror feeling moments. The problem is with bad guys, they have to make them bad. You can't sympathize with a bad guy. You can't. Anti-heroes are fine, right? Anti-heroes, Punisher, Venom, cool, right? You can still sympathize with those types of characters, right? Because Venom is the bad guy, but Brock is not the bad guy. Brock is just a normal guy, and he's involved with this alien creature. Where other ones are just like you can't do that. Travis says I can eat Mexican food every day, never get tired, but pizza, nah. I'd be sick of red sauce eventually. You know my point though, Travis, right? If you keep eating the same thing over and over, at some point you're gonna be like, I don't want to eat this. Sarge says Spider-Man has enough villains to make a grand story arc against him, and if you also bring a few allies to grow the battle, but you need fucking writers, one who actually reads comics. How they did not do the Sinister Six film yet, I have no idea. You could have easily made one hero or a Spider-Man go up against each villain, and then they break out, and then have that Sinister Six moment. Travis says, every villain is a hero of his own story. Doesn't mean he's an actual hero. Right. Bad guys in their head are good guys, but they're not the good guys to the story plot. Necro says, Sony should just cut their losses and sell Spider-Man back to Marvel. I don't see how this works out for them in the long term. Well, they're trying. They're going to see. They're going to do the multiverse. So the animated series of Miles Morales has turned out really well for them. They're doing a Gwen movie, supposedly. They're doing a live-action Miles Morales. And then they have the Nicolas Cage Spider-Man Noir. And I think those could work. But I don't know if you keep going back. So let me say this, right? So Tom Holland comes back for Spider-Man 4. Then he comes back for 5. Comes back for 6. And while we're waiting for 4, 5, and 6 of his films, you have Gwen 1, 2, and 3. And then you have Miles 1, 2, and 3. And then you have Nicolas Cage series 1, 2, and 3. It's like, is the next 10, 15 years of Sony going to be just doused with just so much Spider-Man? Is that bad? Where if Marvel took over, you wouldn't see Miles Morales, you wouldn't see Gwen. Maybe you see her as a cameo or something, but she's not going to be her own standalone film. And if Spider-Man went to Marvel, then you could have a Thunderbolt film, and then you could have a Fantastic Four film, and you have a Blade film, and then you go back later, right? There's so many other people and characters to do in a Marvel where Spider-Man is just going back to the same well. They're going back to the same well. Horseman says, you say Mexican food, but that's a wide variety of things. Fair question is, could you eat burritos every day versus pizza? Right. That's exactly it. It's just one specific thing, right? Pizza's pizza. Mexican food's like a bunch of different stuff, right? Roic says, one movie I would love to see is a Spawn reboot. It's in the works. McFarlane has talked about it. Crowd says, pizza's one type of food. Mexican food is a compass of many dishes. Travis says, his example to me is what I'm playing Far Cry 4. They also, you feel bad for a minute, but also make it clear, yes, he had shit life, but he doesn't excuse what he did. Spider-Ham movie incoming? Maybe. Who knows? Horseman says, off topic, but how do you think the live action How You Train Your Dragon and Lilo and Stitch will do? The How I Train Your Dragon actually looks pretty good. It looks like a 1-to-1 shot, which we showed a couple of months ago. Horseman, it looks like they took the cartoon and they just made it into live action. Why? I don't understand, right? I don't understand. But I think How I Train Your Dragon will do pretty well. I don't know how. Well, let me see. Here's the difference. Let me see. How to Train Your Dragon. Let me go to Box Office Mojo real fast. All right. How to Train Your Dragon. The original one, 2010, made $494 million. Okay, $494 million. Does it make more than the animated series one? I don't know. Right? Let me see. Let me see what the next How I Train Your Dragon, right? Because there's 2 or 3 of them, right? Yeah, there's 3 of them. This one made 621, and then the third one in 2019 made 539. Maybe this live action does around this. Maybe about 500 to 600 million. It does look good. Now, they did race swap one of the characters. I forget what the main character's name is off the top of my head, but the girl that he likes or whatever, I believe they race swapped her in the film. Is that going to make or break the film? I don't think so. But why make a live action, How to Train Your Dragon when the movie itself is good? I guess they didn't want to make another 4th animated one, so they're like, let's just reboot it, but in a live action thing. They're like, oh, Disney's making it work, so let's try it. It does look good. I have to say that at least they're not doing what Disney's doing. Disney's just changing the whole story where How to Train Your Dragon is doing almost a 1-to-1 shot of the movie, the original movie. Yeah, I think the How to Train Your Dragon's good. Lilo and Stitch, I don't know if it does very well. I don't think Lilo and Stitch itself. Was it Lilo and Stitch? What did they do as far as Lilo and Stitch in 2002 made $273 million worldwide. I don't think it does. I don't think it breaks 400 million, the live action. I don't think there's a lot of buzz going on for it. Right? I know a lot of people like the movie after the fact, Lilo and Stitch. But even when they had the Lilo and Stitch interaction show at Disney World, Magic Kingdom, it didn't do very well. It wasn't very popular. That's why they got rid of it. So we'll see what happens with... I do believe that How I Train Your Dragon will do better than Lilo and Stitch. I also think there's a lot of things other than that affect this, Horseman. Universal's opening up a brand new park. They have a How You Train Your Dragon area. So they're they're betting big on this franchise. They're betting big on the film. They're doing the film, linking it up with the actual part of the park that they're coming out with. The park opens up in May. When does this movie come out? I think this movie comes out in, let me see. Comes out in May, doesn't it? June 13th. So this movie launches 1 month after the park opens, the brand new park of Universal Epic Adventure or Epic Universe, whatever it is. So I think that 100% the How You Train Your Dragon live action will do better than Lilo and Stitch, in my opinion. But we'll see. Let's see here. Travis says it looks good, not great in my opinion. For Train Your Dragon. I also like Lilo and Stitch. Sure, Mo. I'm not saying Lilo and Stitch is a bad film in any way, shape, or form. What I'm saying is it didn't do very good when it came out as the animated movie. Right? So the live action is going to be hit or miss. Remember, Lilo and Stitch is also coming after Snow White. And if Snow White bombs, I don't know if Lilo and Stitch does any better. Just because it's sort of like what happened to The Last Jedi with Solo, right? It's like after, but we'll see. Eclipse says, yeah, because they're also Vikings, so it doesn't make sense for them to be a black character. But you know, what are they? God of War, right? Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I don't think it's going to make or break the How to Train Your Dragon, and I think they kind of whitewashed her a little bit, if I'm not mistaken, in the trailers I saw. But you know, it is what it is. Adamfall is on Game Pass. We're gonna play that when it comes out. Let's see. Game Pass isn't enough to raise the interest. Mo, good try. For Adamfall? Oh, you're saying that Adamfall doesn't raise the interest for you to get Game Pass. Gotcha. All right, let's go to the other entertainment news today, which is Captain America, right? So Captain America is starting to get pushed as far as in the news outlets, not on the actual advertisement. Okay. They didn't advertise it at all at the Super Bowl, which I thought was a big red flag. Okay. Like they didn't advertise Captain America, The Brave New World at all during the Super Bowl, which 1 week after the Super Bowl, the movie's coming out. Like Thursday is when tomorrow, right? Tonight or tomorrow. It wasn't advertised, which is just crazy, right? Sarge with the $5 super chat says, I want to hear Mo's song in the background. When you pay, I play. In the background. Okay, hold on. Oh, I don't have it. Yeah, give me a second, Sarge. Yeah, give me a second. I gotta add it to the list. It's not on my board. We'll go over to the Captain America song. Give me a second. We'll have it play for Sarge paid $5, so we got to play it. So let's see here. Let me bring it up. Is this? I think this is the right one. That's the right one, right?
Yeah, Big Mad Mo always got the key. When you pay, he plays, that's how it be. Xbox in his veins, Game Pass in his soul, saying boot on next season, that's how he rolls. Xbox invades enemy territories here. Watch out, PlayStation, you better fear. Less is more, nah, we charging more. Game Pass on deck, we ready to explore. When you pay, I play, that's the rule. No time for delays, I'm running it cool. If you build it, they'll come, trust the vision. Boot on next season's now the mission. When you pay, I play, that's the motto. Xbox power, making games feel like lotto.
We're gonna let it play, Sarge.
It's always in effect, we're taking over, no need to second guess. Left fans more, PlayStation's gone cold. you're charging them more. You're already old. Big Mad Mo's got the controller, never gonna stop. Xbox in his hands, he's climbing to the top. Game Pass is life, yeah, that's
Is this the new
move.
Linkin
If
Park?
you're not on board, then you gotta lose. PlayStation shaking, they're feeling the heat. Mo's got the power, the game's obsolete. Charge them more, keep raising the stakes. Meanwhile, Mo's in Game Pass, no need for breaks. When you pay, I play, no time for doubt. Big Mad Mo's winning, he's never backed out. Boot on next season is the ultimate flex. You know he's dominating Xbox, no stress. When you pay, I play, it's Xbox for life. Game Pass is rolling, no need for strife. Less res more, but we charge him more. PlayStation's feeling the heat, it's a full-on war.
All right, I'll lower it in the background, so I can't have it in the background as we do the news story starts, because when I do the breakout video. Can someone explain to me? Well, Travis, why do we have to explain to you when you don't watch Concussion Ball? Obviously, she got booed, not because she's Taylor Swift. She got booed because she's dating one of the Kansas City Chief guys. And when they show her on the screen and there's more Philadelphia fans than KC fans, they booed her. Because she's part of the Kansas City, like, team, essentially. That's why. That's why. All right, so as I was saying, thank you very much, Sarge, for the super chat. Oh, I gotta raise my volume up again. The funny thing is, she's an Eagles fan. Is she? I thought she was from Tennessee, isn't she? I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter, but I think she'd be a Titans fan. Eclipse says, first of all, Taylor Swift's music sucks. I'd rather hear Kendrick any day, but that's just me. You guys have a fight of music in the chat. That's fine. All right, so Captain America, Brave New World wasn't advertised at all during the Super Bowl. Red flag number one. There's a lot of red flags, but that's red flag number one at this point when the movie comes out just 4 days later, right? So it comes out tomorrow. And now news cycles are starting to promote this, push this to say that Captain America, right? Captain America, Brave New World, box office projections set to earn above $180 million and recover its massive budget on the debut itself. I don't know about this. Okay. Now, I read a lot. I watch a lot of people. Okay. This has been reshot 4 times. Okay. Now, not that there's 2 comparisons here, but I'm going to compare something to you, okay? Skull and Bones got rebooted 7 times. Skull and Bones came out and it bombed, okay? Veilguard got rebooted. Veilguard bombed. What else got rebooted and it bombed, okay? There's lots of examples. I just can't think of them. Those are 2 examples in the video game space. Now, in the film space, when a lot of reshoots happen, take it from me, okay? Basically, there's the original vision of what the movie was or the TV show, okay? Daredevil, okay, can recover because Daredevil, Born Again, had 8 or 10 episodes in the can, okay? In the can means done, filmed, okay? Back in the day, there's actual canisters of film, and once you're done with it, in the can, okay? Final edit. They scrapped it and started again, okay? That could save Daredevil Born Again because they scrapped what they had. The difference between the TV show and the movie is the movie was filmed. They can't reshoot the entire film, so what they do is they do reshoots. Now, reshoots can last a couple days. They can last a couple of weeks. They can come back a couple of weeks later. So total is like a month or 2 of new footage that they've added. And usually when they do reshoots, there's like a pickup shot or something like that they add to it. There was full-on reshoots for this film. And when they do that, in a TV show, they scrap the whole thing, restarted for Born Again, for Daredevil. For this, they can't do that. For this, they had a meal piece it together. So the problem with this movie is going to be, and again, I don't know if it's like this. I'm just talking about this in a way of me working in the film industry, knowing how it works and what's going to happen when it goes on the big screen. When it comes out on the big screen, you're going to notice, if you don't know anything about reshoots, what you're going to notice is that the storyline doesn't kind of make sense, right? It's going to feel choppy. It's going to feel a little different because you're going to be like, this doesn't make sense why they cut here, or the acts are not going to make sense. Like act 1 and 2, and then all of a sudden 3, something's going to go in that realm. And you're going to be like, it was fun, it was entertaining, but something's just off about it. Okay? This is what happened with Shang-Chi and stuff like that. They did some reshoots. Back then it was because of COVID. There was a lot of different things that was happening. So lots of stuff is happening. So in the article, or articles they've been talking about, not this article, I haven't read this article, but in other articles that I've seen, they're talking about how, the budget's on 180 million. They're not putting marketing into that. And they're also not adding the other reshoots on top of this. This movie right now, as it stands, for the shooting part of it, the production part of it, after the original cinematography and then all the other pickups that they've done, is somewhere around $280 to $300 million. But yet they're telling you it's about 180 million. Okay. So Captain America, Brave New World will be released this Friday, actually Thursday. Okay. But Friday for everybody else. Projections are also pouring in after the domestic numbers of projections of the worldwide opening are here. And it's not too shabby. Anthony Mackie's film is releasing on President's Day weekend, and the pre-sales are going in full swing. Scroll below for more. The movie opened up in the major overseas plays today, including France, Korea, and Italy, and will kick off in Germany, Brazil, Australia, Mexico tomorrow. On Friday, it'll be widely released, including the UK, China, Spain, Japan, and in China. The film's pre-sales numbers are also higher than those of most of the comic book movies released recently, including Deadpool and Wolverine. There's a key word there, right? Numbers are much higher than most of the comic book movies released recently. What does that mean? Shang-Chi, Black Widow, Captain Marvel, Ant-Man and the Quantumania. What are we talking about? Recently. They're saying including Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, the reason an article would put this is they're saying that this movie is going to outsell Deadpool and Wolverine. No shot. No shot in hell. Okay? Difference is, this is the third Deadpool movie, and this is the 4th/1. Okay, this is like 4.1 of Captain America, because this is not Captain America. This is Anthony Mackie's Captain America. Okay, so as Luis Fernandez reports, Captain America Brave New World is eyeing a $105 million to $115 million opening weekend overseas market. The film's domestic projections dipped below the previous prediction. Initially, Deadline's reports predict that the film would also earn $95 million in the U.S. on its opening weekend, but now the trade analysts project it to be between 80 and 85 million. Even with the 85 to 95, let's just say each of domestic and overseas makes 100 million each. So it's a 200 million weekend. Okay. People will look at that and go, "Oh, that's phenomenal." Sure. If the budget of the movie was $180 million, okay, because they would need to make about 400 to 450 million, but that's not what they need to make. Okay, this movie needs to make anywhere between 700 to $1 billion to make profit off of the $300 to $350 million budget. And then the marketing on top of that, which I would give maybe 150 to 200 million, because they didn't do as much, at least that I've seen. So they need to make 500 million towards the actual film with marketing and the budget of the actual reshoots and the production. So this movie needs to make upwards to 600, 700 million just to break even. And then the profit kicks in after that, right? There's no way that this is going to make it. Anyway, Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford Captain America 4 is eyeing 185 million to 200 million global opening. The film's reported budget is a staggering 180 million, which means it needs to earn more than 500 million. Now, mind you, that's the budget if it's 180 million. Okay? But it's not 180 million. It's 300 plus. Okay? 300 plus million. Okay? If it was 180 million, it needs to earn $500 million worldwide to start making money back. Okay, it says the early reactions to also pour in the social media very soon. The final countdown or final collection might change depending on that. The last MCU movie, Deadpool and Wolverine, registered the biggest R-rated film opening in the history with a 444.1 million collection. The Marvels before that collected 110 million global opening. Ant-Man 3's worldwide opening weekend was 249.7 million. Now, I just want to put that in perspective. Let's go look at Ant-Man. Okay, let's go look at Ant-Man real fast. Just so people understand, okay, where it ended up. Now, remember, Captain America here, it says, the weekend collection, Ant-Man 3's worldwide opening weekend collection was 249.7 million. And this is where Ant-Man ended up. Okay? So worldwide, it made 247 million. They're like, this is going to be it, man. And then it fell off a cliff, okay? Which is one of the worst movies they've come out with because of their budget. Their budget was well over, and it needed to make $700 to $1 billion. So Ant-Man potentially lost $400 million, okay, just to break even because of the budget, okay? So now they're trying to hype this up. They're trying to tell you that Captain America Brave New World is going to be a huge success, okay? And this is nothing, I want to make this clear. This is nothing against Anthony Mackie. This is nothing against Harrison Ford being in the film. This has everything to do what Marvel has done the last couple of years. And this is just the swing of things they tell you when they're showing you that, yeah, this is going to be a big blockbuster. This is going to be a big thing, right? Here's another article from Game Rant. Captain America Brave New World is projected to open up as high as 105 million. This is terrible, by the way. 105 million would be terrible for a Marvel film. But they're going to tell you it's really big, right? Early projections of Captain America Brave New World estimate a domestic opening weekend gross reach as high as 95 million, but going into the Super Bowl forecast, Box Office Theory now places the film 3-day domestic debut at no lower than 86 million and the peak of 105 million. Now, the film's overall domestic haul is projected to fall between 207 million and 274 million range, slightly higher than the previous prediction of 195 to 280 million. Okay, this 280 million. Remember, Ant-Man 3 made 247 million opening weekend domestically and overseas, and it bombed. It lost $400 million. Okay, just like the U.S. pre-sales, overseas pre-sales Captain America Brave New World equally encouraging, according to Fernando on X. Chinese audience reward the film with 346 million or 346,000 on the first day of pre-sales. For the reference, not even Deadpool, Wolverine, or The Batman or Dune Part 2 managed to grab such numbers instead of having 221. Well, you know what? I think China's sales are going up high. I think they're going up high because of this, right? Hold on. Let me find Altern's post real fast. Okay. Because Altern posted this the other day. Maybe, I don't know. This could be some of the reasons why Chinese sales are going through the roof over there in high pre-sales, because they don't know who's actually in the movie. They just saw a poster with a silhouette of somebody on it, and they actually don't know because they have to hide it over there because, you know, Disney loves hiding stuff like that. I mean, they don't want to actually tell you there's a black man in the film. Okay, so just like the U.S. pre-sales overseas, 346,000 for the first day. Okay, it says they managed to grab such numbers instead of having 221,000 or 175,000 or 87,000 respectively. If Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford indeed open shop on the higher end of the 105 estimate, it'll be an impressive jump over Captain America: The Winter Soldier, 95 million 3-day opening weekend, but less so considering that the last installment of Captain America: Civil War opened up at 179 million. They're comparing things that happened over a decade ago. With inflation, that's much higher, okay? But whatever. It goes without saying that the forecasts and predictions are inclusive. Besides, they historically moved upwards post-Super Bowl, meaning that the next final prediction for this film will be almost certainly higher. There's no doubt that skepticism amongst the general audience about Captain America Brave New World and multiple reshoots are not helping this outlook. With a reported production budget of roughly 180 million, they're missing literally $200 million on top of that. 120, it's like $300 million, $350 million what the budget actually was. According to Hollywood Reporter, the global sum of at least 500 million is what Marvel at Disney executives would be aiming for. That's at 180 million. Okay, again, 180 million. So let me show you an article. I think it's this one. Yes. So this is back in June 27th of 2024. Captain America Brave New World has a budget of $350 million to $375 million. Okay. Last year, after receiving negative test scores, the Marvel being overwhelmed by early cuts of the film 4 reshoots. Okay. Called 3 major action sequences being filmed from May to August of 2024. Okay, they literally just stopped filming in August of 2024, which is really close to what release is. Okay. Brave New World had originally wrapped filming in June of 2023 and was set for July 2024. Right. So it was delayed almost 1 full year. So now it turned into a monstrosity mess for Marvel. It just doesn't push the movie as big out for the calendar and decided to bump it to February unless major trouble is brewing. Back in December, by Marvel penned additional scenes for material. Orton's work is also being shot in the latest 4 months, additional photography taking place in Atlanta. We've also added some new characters to the story. And it's all mounting to be a catastrophic disaster for the Mouse of House, with audiences even showed up to Captain America that doesn't star Chris Evans. Brave New World already had a budget of $275 million before reshoots. Okay? Remember, the spin on this is that the movie only cost $180 million. Okay? But 8 months ago, before reshoots, it was $275 million. Okay? And now the contact deeply embedded, the current Brave New World reshoots is telling me that the reshoots said that it cost Disney anywhere between $75 to $100 million. They will tell me if they're likely to shoot a brand new movie. The reshoots alone are as much as a movie. Okay? So the real bummer is, through its ordeal, the Sundance darling of 2019 directing excellence Lucy has now been zapped into the Marvel machine. Okay? Brave New World is based early drafts. Okay, and the latter, which also has a head writer, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Orton has, by all accounts, scrapped a big chunk of the screenplay and rewritten key new scenes. Okay, so massive problems going on with this film. But again, look, I have article after article after article talking about how the budget was only $185 million. $185 million, right? Captain America: Brave New World spent less than $200 million, right? And this is false. This is false. The reason they're doing this is to try to build up the hype. This is called low-tier marketing, okay? Instead of putting a Super Bowl commercial and hyping it up and showing you what the movie looks like and what it feels like, they decide to depend on people writing articles to tell you, like, oh, well, this movie only cost $185 million and it only needs to make, and it's lies. This movie needs to break $700 million to make money, okay? And I don't think this movie goes anywhere near. I think Ant-Man and the Wasp and Quantumania here, okay, $476 million. I say it's around about this, okay? If it hits $500 million, I would be very surprised if Captain America and the Brave New World hits $500 million. And even if it does, it's still about $200 million off from making money. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Are you excited to see Captain America: Brave New World? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know in the live chat. Are you excited about these new Marvel films coming out, even to Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts that come out later this year? Again, my thoughts. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. All right. Let me see what you guys are saying. Let's see. Sarge says, stop the bullshit there. There's no Anthony Mackie's Captain America. There's just Captain America, and Anthony Mackie ain't it. He's a great Falcon. He's a great Falcon. Okay. Let's see. Altern says, well, in China, it's not Anthony Mackie, but a red silhouette. Yeah, it's terrible. Right? Pretty sure you're also playing against other team. Oh, you're talking about Travis. You guys are talking about Travis. Horseman says they call it a survival game. Ark is a survival game, but it's PvP. Sarge says, are you telling me that they will lose less money by doing this fucking reshoots as opposed to just releasing a movie, getting the loss anyway? They would rather take the loss because at the end of the year, again, Disney, Sarge, has Avatar at the end of the year. I know it's not Marvel, but Disney as a brand has Avatar at the end of the year. And that movie alone will make up for all the other movies that lost money. Horseman says, Big Red beating on American tracks that would sell well in China, especially right now. What's going on, dog? All I'm saying is the end credit scene and the new Cap better be worth seeing. Well, if you're going to go watch the movie for that, Kylo, I did watch Chris Gore. He saw it early, and he said that the end credit scene is the worst ending credit scene that's ever been in any Marvel film. Now, take that what you will, okay? But he says it's so boring, and they said they didn't even have to put one. They would rather have not seen one than the one that he saw. So there's that. Thunderbolts trailer actually looks pretty entertaining. Okay, it looks like it's just a fun movie. It looks like a fun movie. The trailer looks fun. The trailer of Thunderbolts looks better than Captain America: Brave New World. Hey, the trailer for Thunderbolts looks better than the actual movie for Captain America: Brave New World. And I'm telling you, massive reshoots. It's going to be a jumbled mess, right? This, again, has nothing to do with Anthony Mackie. I'm sure Anthony Mackie did a great job as being Captain America and doing what he had, but the movie is going to be mid. It's going to be mid. You're going to like it. I can already tell. People are going to be like, oh, I like it. It's entertaining. Great. Majority of the people are not going to see it, and it's going to lose a shit ton of money, regardless if it's good or not. Because at the end of the day, you're satisfied if you watch a movie. If you like it, cool. But at the end of the day, the business, the corporation, is not going to make money because it's not going to be successful. Travis says, Thunderbolts looks like a comfort food movie. That's all I need. I don't know if it looks like a comfort food movie. I think if you go into Thunderbolts, Travis, not knowing anything about the Marvel Cinematic Universe and just watch it, I think you'll be entertained. I think you'll be disappointed if you're a person that reads the comics or watches other films. I don't think it's going to be very good. I think the bigger the fan you are, the more disappointed you'll be, and the more normie you are, the more you'll like it. That's the way I think it'll go. Dog says usually the films do good. Travis, Florence. I'll be honest, dog. This might be a hot take. I think Florence Pugh is a very beautiful woman, but I think she's a downgrade from Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. Hot take. I think she's a downgrade from Scarlett Johansson being Black Widow. I expect a solid B action movie. Dog says, now we fight. I think she's beautiful, but she's a downgrade. Dolphin says, like I said earlier, 30, as a casual fan, I'll watch Falcon and Winter Soldier last night, and Winter Soldier last night, and could have been a 2-hour movie, but it was entertained. Didn't think it sucked. Yeah. No lies detected. Even though that Black Widow movie was horrible. Oh, the Black movie was horrible. 100%, Kylo. But Scarlett Johansson is a much better Black Widow. Ultron says, you take that back, Dirty. Florence is hot as fuck. I didn't say she wasn't. Right? Florence is hot. Scarlett Johansson is hotter. Right? She's a better Black Widow looking wise. You want to call me shallow or what? See, and I know I'm right. Because Travis likes Florence. So that's usually how the barometer goes. Whatever Travis likes, I know I'm correct. Florence got a better acting range, bud. Again, you're not listening to the conversation. Are we? Is this on, dog? Is this on? Right? Did I talk about the acting range? Did I say anything about acting? I didn't say anything about acting, did I? We literally were talking about looks. No one said anything about acting. Just squint. Yeah, good. Oh, it's not all about looks? Look at me and you. I'm also not in a massive blockbuster film. Just saying. Just saying. Kim Basinger is the mom from 8 Mile. Come on. Sorry, breakup. Can't hear you. Just kidding. I mean, like I said, Florence is good looking, but she's a downgrade to Scarlett Johansson. And we got people going, oh, but her acting is better. Yeah, that's why. That's why I said what I said, because of the acting. All right, let me close these down. Let me get the video. It's a long video, so we're going to be watching Legendary Drop talk about how they're cooked in the video game space. The articles that we've covered so far are all in the description down below. You can also find Legendary Drop's video in the description down below as well. All right, so this is a 31-minute. This is a 31-minute video. There's gonna be a lot of pause. This is an hour easy. This is an hour easy. Pfeiffer? Oh, you're talking about Michelle Pfeiffer. I mean, for that age, sure. You spelled Fiverr like the drug company, it looks like. All right. The next story or video that we're watching is Legendary Drop. It's called Judgment Day Has Come for Live Service Games. Okay, I saw this and I was like, oh, yeah. 1.5 is too fast for a lot of people, Sarge. Who's the best looking woman then? For what? Are we moving goalposts, dog? I was just comparing Black Widow to Black Widow. That was it. Just Black Widow to Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson's a better Black Widow than Florence Pugh. In looks. You just watched it? It's so good? All right. Well, you're going to watch it again. Sorry, Eclipse. Sorry, Eclipse. Here, we'll go to 1.5.
We are in the calm before the storm. The eerie silence
We'll
before
go to
the first shot
1.5
is fired.
and
Live service
and
games
see if it's too
almost
fast for you
entirely
guys.
across the board have been losing players, losing relevance, and hemorrhaging money. While at the exact same time, every major publisher is rushing
That's
to go and
too
make the
fast.
next live service game, or they are desperately clinging on to their
How
existing
about
ones, trying to stay
1.25?
afloat. We are in the calm before the storm. The eerie silence
1.25.
before the first shot is fired.
All
We
right.
are in the calm before the storm. The eerie silence before the first shot is fired. Live service games almost entirely across the board have been losing players, losing relevance, and hemorrhaging money. While at the exact same time, every major publisher is rushing to go and make the next live service game, or they are desperately clinging on to their existing ones, trying to stay afloat, not realizing that's exactly what's causing this problem in the first place, because something's been going on, but nobody's caught wind of it. And it makes a lot of sense. In most cases, we look at gaming failures in a case-by-case basis rather than zooming out and looking at the bigger picture. But when you do, you see that the foundation is starting to crumble. You look around and you see that every player in every community is complaining about the exact same things. You see prices that are skyrocketing and quality that's plummeting. You see microtransactions become the main priority
I like it, Horseman. Living dead services.
of these companies. Monetization become the main priority of these companies. And at the exact same time,
Is that too fast? The 1.25 is too fast for you guys? Is it too fast? I'll slow it down if it's too fast. No? Okay. Well, Dolphin says no. Everybody else? You go with the 1.25? Travis says too fast. See? So I know it's okay. Yeah, Travis says it's too fast, so we know it's okay then.
communities are dying. You see that content creators and streamers who have built their entire career around single games have lost relevance at a rapid rate, and that's a sign of decay. That's a sign of collapse. These are warning signs that a lot of people aren't paying attention to. The industry has overvalued live service games to a reckless degree while undervaluing single-player games or just, day one paid-for experiences. And most
Thank you, Travis. I know I'm number one. I know.
of them have completely abandoned them. Look at EA. They come forward and believe that Dragon Age the Veilguard failed because a lack of live service elements.
Yeah, the amount of, like, the CEOs and companies, we talked about this with the EA article, right? They're like, oh, the reason Veilguard failed is because it wasn't live service. Like, that's what you got from what's happening right now in the industry? You think that Veilguard failed because it wasn't a live service? Like, how deaf and blind are you?
Yeah, this is reality. What world do we live in? The best-selling and most talked-about games over the past few years have almost all been single-player games, and I think the vast majority of people will probably agree with me on that. Those are the games that I remember the most at the very least. Today, what I want to do is I want to talk about the slow drain on relevance in live service games, the exhaustion of the player base, and why putting all your money and betting all your money on live service has now become a death sentence.
There was a person, and I forget, maybe he's watching this. There's a person, I forget his name. Big Bolt or big someone. Pardon me if you're watching and I forgot your name. Every time I talked about live service, every single time I talked about live service, he would say that I'm wrong. Live service, people love live service. Live service are happening more and more. They're not failing. They're being more successful. And that's not been true. Sure, there have been live service games. No, it wasn't Mo. There's been live service games that have worked. But there's been way more live service games that fail, okay? Can live service work? Absolutely, right? Are there big live service games? Yes. But when every game turns to a live service, there's going to be a massive pushback. Just is. Just like my analogy I said earlier about having pizza. Pizza's great, but if you have too much pizza, pizza becomes bad, okay? Live service is great. Except when everything's live service, then there's nothing special about it. Everything's live service, so people start pushing back.
The industry is changing, and I don't think they're ready for it. Now, every single year we go through the same cycle. Players and content creators debating whether or not their favorite live service game is finally dying. World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, Call of Duty, Apex Legends, virtually every major title goes through one of these phases. And for years, it's mostly been hyperbole. But now, it's slowly becoming all but inevitable.
I wanna take out, I mean, MMOs are live service games, but because there's some MMOs you pay a monthly subscription and other ones you don't. And yes, they're live service, but MMOs I think are a separate category. Live service to me is like what you're seeing with Fortnite, Apex Legends, Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, Helldivers. These are all live service games. World of Warcraft, Elder Scrolls, Final Fantasy 14, like all of these other online MMOs, I wouldn't consider, yes, they're live service, but most of them are like paid subscription, or they've been like this for years. So MMOs have always been live service because you're paying a monthly paying a monthly fee. So they're always keeping them updated to keep your $15 a month. These are free to play games. These are cheaper games that keep you coming back. Those are the live service games that people are starting to push back against.
Whether it's general fatigue, lack in content, financial strain, new game releases, or unchecked issues, players are leaving live service games in droves right now. I've mentioned this before, but Call of Duty has lost nearly all of the players that it gained from the launch of
Call of Duty Steam has lost all the players it gained from Black Ops 6 launch over the course of 1 month. 148,000 players for Black Ops 6 launch period of October to November. 145,000 players in December, right? That's a massive drop. Now, obviously, it's not because the game is boring or whatnot, but it's a factor of other games have come out. Other people are doing different things. And this is why I have a little bit of a shakiness of what's going on with Battlefield 6, okay? Because if you bring in people that left this other Battle Royale or this other Warframe or Warzone type of game and to come over here, okay, to make this the latest, greatest warfare game or Battle Royale game, that's a problem, okay? Because the people's attention span are getting shorter and shorter. And if you don't update your game, if you don't bring a character in like Marvel Rivals is doing every 6 weeks, people start losing interest. Roadkill, thank you very much. He says, let's get this PlayStation fan a new PC from Timu. $10 super chat. Thank you, Roadkill. Thank you very much for the continued support. Appreciate you. The Temu PC build. Here we go.
Black Ops 6. A dip in retention is normal, but this isn't a post-launch fall-off. This is a catastrophic collapse. And it's not just Black Ops 6. The Steam launcher is tracking Call of Duty Warzone as well, meaning that all numbers across the board are plummeting.
That's 5 p.m. today. 5 p.m. Dolphin. So we won't talk about it until tomorrow show for the Daily Grind.
YouTube and Twitch metrics are telling the same story. Content creators who have built their audiences around Call of Duty are seeing a fraction of their normal viewership. Apex Legends lost 70% of its player base in just 1 year, and all the complaints between these two games is almost identical. Lack in variety of content, reusing cosmetics rather than creating anything new, content that raises the skill ceiling and alienates casual players, persistent...
Real quick, right? Real quick, the Apex Legend losing 70% of the people. What's been around? 3 years? It's been 3 years since Apex Legends came out. And now Apex Legends is made by who? EA. And EA is making what? Battlefield. And the Battlefield 6 is going to have a war zone. And it's going to have a battle royale. And it's going to have these type of things that Apex has. So now you're taking the player base that was in Apex Legends that left to go play whatever game. And they're going to try to get those people to come back. And even if those people never left, you have EA has Apex Legends. Then they have Battlefield. And they both have battle royales in them. And it's like you're thinning out the player base. You're not helping one game or the next. Hence why you shouldn't have a battle royale in everything. Hence why you shouldn't have a war zone in every game. Hence why you should make a game, sell a game to what that demographic is for that game.
Bugs and performance issues, rampant cheating, and yet somehow, some way, the only thing these developers seem to prioritize is monetization. Players are bored, fatigued, and frustrated, while these
The stores always work.
companies behind these games keep extending their hands, asking for more money. And this has been a consistent trend because last year, Ubisoft reconfigured their battle pass for Rainbow Six.
Rainbow Six Siege fans, boo. $10 a month membership announcement. Oh, that's like an MMO now. A membership. Fortnite does that too, right?
Siege, increasing prices, removing rewards, not adding any new content to the game, while asking players if they'd like to purchase a membership to keep playing the game. Many live service studios have tunnel vision profit and have completely lost sight of the quality of their product and the service that they're supposed to be delivering. That's why they're losing players. I mean, look at what's going on with League of Legends. Riot has always been a studio, for the most part, that has been frequently celebrated by its players, but recently the developer stepped forward to explain that while player retention is stable and revenue is up, they've come to realize that Hex Tech Chest, a free reward path that many players made their primary way of earning free cosmetics, is somehow not sustainable anymore, and quote, "We are giving away too much free stuff." Guys,
You made the problem. We didn't make the problem. You made the problem. See, and this is what I don't like. Certain companies get in and they're like, oh, we'll do this in the beginning and then we'll change it. Right? You made the problem. You made the business model. The business model for you was a free-to-play game that you're going to charge money for skins, for heroes, for guns, for DLC, whatever. You decided your business model and you wanted to make all the money. Okay? Well, you didn't make all the money, and now you're like, well, we got to change our business plan because we got you in now. You paid the money. Now you're here. Now you don't want to have lost costs. You know what I mean? Like, they don't want to sunk cost fallacy that they have the characters or the players. The players have money invested into something, and then they change it up after the fact because they know they have you.
guys, we're making enough money, but we want more. That's essentially what they're saying.
That's right. We made enough money, but now this is slowing down. This is going from here to here, and this is not enough. We need to make this go back up like this.
Here, who the hell greenlit this? These dudes said, we only want you to buy something when you feel it's worth it, yet you took away the only way for players to get free stuff. How did you think this is going to go over? Now, while many live service games have been struggling the past few years, much of it for self-inflicted reasons more than anything else, single-player games have been thriving. We are in the middle of a renaissance, with both indie and AAA games reaching massive audiences and delivering.
I don't think we're in a renaissance of single-player games. I think this is some myth that people think EA said that no one's interested in single-player games, and then yet they come out with Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order over the years, right? Like, there's plenty of single-player games. Single-player games have always been here. They've never gone away. People just don't look at them, okay? Single-player games have always been a thing. They've never left. There was never less of them. They've always been here, and they've always succeeded.
Delivering real satisfaction. Hogwarts Legacy outsold Call of Duty. Baldur's Gate 3 is still one of Steam's most played games. Black Myth Wukong shattered Steam's concurrent player records. Kingdom Come Deliverance made all of its money back within 20.
Like, look at this. What he just showed.
And delivering real satisfaction. Hogwarts Legacy outsold
Hogwarts Legacy, right? 2023.
Call of Duty. Baldur's Gate 3 is
Baldur's Gate 3, 2023 as well, at the end of 2023, right?
still one of Steam's most played games.
Black Myth Wukong, 2024.
Steam's concurrent player records. Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Kingdom Come Deliverance. Happening right now, 2025.
It's made all of its money back within 24 hours, and the player numbers continue to rise. The list goes on. While live service games are still popular,
I disagree. Yeah, Sarge. It's not a renaissance. Single-player games have never gone away. They're here. They've always been here, and they're here to stay.
we are witnessing a shift. Players are finding more value and are being more valued in single-player experiences. It's hard to ignore all the success.
Come on, Mr. Luke.
And I think this is the key weakness in live service games and why they're struggling. Many single-player games still understand what players want, while live service games have lost sight of it entirely. The best single-player games aren't just selling gameplay, they are delivering a complete...
Right, Elden Ring, 25 million. Like, there's no renaissance. There's no renaissance happening.
Experience, a world worth investing in, a story worth following. Meanwhile, live service games have become nothing more than a financial experiment rather than a creative pursuit. Studios aren't building games for players.
Live service games are this and this only. Minimal, viable product. That's it. Single player games are years of investment. Hundreds of people's investment time, if not thousands, all depending on what it is. Okay? When something new comes out, single player game, like a Black Myth Wukong, like a Kingdom Come Deliverance, right? Like a Hogwarts Legacy, okay? These are people taking risks, putting themselves out there, single player games, not asking for microtransactions galore. They make a game, they sell a game. The live service aspect of it, okay, is minimal viable product. Let's put out the thing as fast as possible. Let's make it shiny and new. Let's jingle the keys, okay? And then let's see how much money we can make off of it. And if it doesn't make money, well, then we'll just close it down and move on.
Players anymore. They're building platforms to extract revenue. Every update, every feature, every design decision is dictated by retention metrics and engagement algorithms rather than genuine craftsmanship. The result? A stagnant, disposable gaming ecosystem where quality is an afterthought and player goodwill is traded for short-term profit. That's why I find it almost comical to hear that EA's Andrew Wilson, a man who has spent years gutting single-player franchises, is suggesting that Dragon Age the Veilguard failed because it lacked live service elements. It's a perfect example of
Mr. Android Wilson, Andrew Wilson over here. Okay, like seriously, he is... I don't want to say he's disconnected, okay? He's making a shit ton of money off of the Madden and the FIFA and all the other stuff, or I'm sorry, FC 25, okay? And the college football and stuff, and he's turning Battlefield into that sports game, basically. He's right from the business perspective. They're making a shit ton of money, but he's wrong on thinking that games fail because they weren't live service.
Of how disconnected these executives are from reality. They aren't just ignoring the industry's trends, successes, and failures. They're actively rejecting the lessons that they should be learning. In an article written by Todd Black of GamerRanks titled "EA Boss Feels Dragon Age the Veilguard Failed Because of a Lack of Live Service."
This is such a tone-deaf article, like title. EA Boss feels Dragon Age Veilguard failed because of lack of live service elements. Like, no, it didn't fail because of any other reasons. Shitty story writing, not fun gameplay, doesn't look like Dragon Age. It's attached to Dragon Age in any way, shape, or form. Now, it didn't fail because of those things. It failed because it didn't have microtransactions.
Elements. Todd writes, video games can fail for multiple reasons, and not all of them is on the developer or publisher. There are plenty of cult classic titles that were high-quality games, it's just that many people didn't give them the chance. There are also times when games are high quality, but developers and publishers never gave them the big push marketing-wise, so people really weren't aware of them and thus didn't buy them. Then there are games like Dragon Age the Veilguard, which had plenty of push from BioWare and EA, but it also had a ton of baggage in the public eye. And that was the key reason why it failed. However, that's not what Electronic Arts feels. While speaking at an investor call, as noted by comicbook.com, EA CEO Andrew Wilson made a bold statement claiming that the reason the BioWare RPG failed wasn't because of a lack in quality or marketing, but because the game didn't have any live service.
No, you're right. It wasn't because of a lack of quality or marketing. It was a lack of... The quality was there for Veilguard. It looked great. It ran great. It didn't have a lot of problems. But it wasn't a Dragon Age game. It didn't look anything like a Dragon Age game.
Service elements to help it connect with gamers. Now, to make sure that I really drive home Andrew Wilson's words, because I want to make sure everybody understands this clearly, I'm going to do this in my best CEO voice, so give me just a second. We know as a global leader in entertainment, great titles, even when built into...
I like it. He's doing a little accent. I like it.
Delivered with polished execution can sometimes miss our financial expectations. In order to break beyond the core audience, games need to direct...
What is that, like Professor Howard? No, not Professor. Dr... No, Mr. Howell. He sounds like Mr. Howell from Gilligan's Island.
Connect with the evolving demands of players who increasingly seek shared world features and deeper engagement alongside high-quality narratives in this beloved category. Dragon Age had a high-quality launch, the biggest launch, probably the biggest launch ever. And it was well reviewed by critics and those who played it. However, it did not resonate with a broad enough audience in this highly competitive
Look at what this title says right here. Days after EA CEO suggests players crave live service, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 boss says the single-player RPG made all its money back in one day. But I thought single-player games were gone. I didn't think anybody wanted to play single-player games. Amazing. Amazing.
Market. Guys, I don't know what to say. Andrew Wilson isn't just out of touch. I don't even think this guy is on Earth. I'm starting to wonder if all these gaming CEOs all get together for a peyote retreat in the desert. Live service is becoming Scientology to these people. The idea that Dragon Age the Veilguard failed because of lack of shared world experiences that players crave is laughable when the data shows the players aren't craving shared world experiences. They're craving good games, and they always have. By the way,
yeah, imagine, make a game, sell a game. Make a game means make a game. Inside that make a game section is make it good, make it fun, right? Make it a reason why people should play your game. That's the make the game part.
Wait, keep in mind, he is the one that made the decision to revert the game from a live service game back into a single-player game.
Right.
So if he had all this infinite wisdom, where was it when he made that decision? This isn't the first time that EA has tried to push this narrative. Back in 2017, Wilson said almost the exact same thing, that players just don't want linear games anymore like they did 10 years ago.
And then came out with Star Wars.
What was the result of that thinking? Well, EA shut down Visceral Games, the developers of Dead Space, one of the most beloved single-player studios that they had, because CFO Blake Jorgensen declared that they had to cut the...
I have a question. If single player is dead and EA doesn't want to make single-player games with live service games, where the fuck is my Battlefront 3? Where's Battlefront 3?
Bridge when you realize that you can't make a lot of money on something. And here we are years later watching EA continue the same move.
Oh, that's because they have to pay a lot of money towards Disney. That's why.
Away from single-player games and pushing more into live service. Blaming the Veilguard's failure on a lack of live service, to me, is nothing more than a desperate attempt to justify a shift that's well underway. A shift where EA can quietly transition all of its studios into live service factories while cutting out single-player development entirely. Because to them, single-player is too expensive, too risky, and not profitable enough. And to me...
It's not too risky. It's not too risky. If you make a game, and it's a good game, it will sell. The problem is the last part he just said.
Development entirely. Because to them, single player is too expensive, too risky, and not profitable enough.
Not profitable enough. It's profitable, but not profitable enough. It's this, it's not this. They want, they want this. This is not profitable. This might as well be this or this. Okay? That's what that is. They want this. Constant this.
And to me, that's a death sentence. I think that by ignoring single-player successes and their value, these studios and publishers have lost sight of why players come to play games in the first place. And that isn't sustainable, and we're starting to see the signs of that now. Now, before I get into this, because this is a multi-layered issue that these games and these companies are suffering from, I don't have an issue with live service games. I love live service games. There's plenty of them that I play, but I think that these companies have undervalued single-player games and complete paid experiences, and I don't think they understand those.
That's exactly right, Rowick. That's exactly right? You can make any game you want. But you can't blame players if it isn't success. The players didn't make it. You did. So it's all on you. It's always on the devs. It's always on the companies. They made a game. They sold a game. If that game doesn't sell, then it wasn't a good game. People bought it, sure. Thousands of people bought it. Tens of thousands of people bought it. Hundreds of thousands of people bought it. But it didn't make enough money back to be successful because they didn't make a game that people were interested in. Make a game, sell a game.
Those game successes, and I think they're failing to learn the right lessons. Players do not have the time, the money, or the energy to only play live service games. That's not sustainable. We need variety. And in a lot of ways, I think something that they've kind of forgotten is that single-player games kind of act as a loss leader, drawing people into a publisher's ecosystem, building rapport, creating credibility, and strengthening...
I agree with this. I agree with what he's saying there, right? I'm not saying you can't have any live service game. What I'm saying is you can't have the same games across the board, right? So if EA comes out with a single-player game, and then they come out with a live service game, and then they come out with a battle royale game, and they come out with a war zone type of game, and they come out with a co-op type of game, cool. Every year you have these type of games, and that's what it is. That's not what they're doing, right? They make a game, and they're like, this has got battle royale, and then this game's got battle royale, and then this game's got battle royale, and then this game's a live service, and this game, and everything's the same. Why is Ubisoft failing as a company right now? Every game that they have is a wide open, live service, microtransaction filled game with bloatedness. Every Ubisoft game is the same formula. Same exact thing. Why are they failing as a company? I don't know. Maybe because Far Cry and Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs and all of these other things, it's just basically the same game, just in a different setting, instead of making different types of games.
That studio's reputation, because reputation is a currency. YouTubers know this all too well. Every single time I take a sponsorship, I'm spending some of my reputation, but I can't make everything I do a sponsorship because reputation and respect has to be earned before it can be spent. And I think there's something to say about creativity as a currency as well. It needs to be generated and nurtured before it can be spent, and there is a finite amount of it. When you only focus on live service games, you are locking your developers into creative purgatory. They don't get to explore, take risks, or try something new. They're stuck turning out the same shit, update after.
No, trying something new now is, hey, let's put something risque in the microtransaction store and see if that sells. Like, that is the chances they take now.
Update, working on the same maps, the same mechanics in the same game without ever learning anything new, never evolving. Hell, I recently spoke with current and former Call of Duty developers when I was getting ready to make this video, and I asked them about the issues that were plaguing their games, and they all pointed to the exact same thing. They are never allowed to do any real engineering or creative work on the IP or its engine. It is effectively...
It's basically what he's saying is like they're workers in a factory. Okay? It's just the mold, right? Call of Duty game. It's the chocolate factory. It's the bottle company. It's like the guy who's sitting on the just watching bottles go by, making sure nothing's wrong. It's the same. It's a factory. There's no more art. There's no more people trying to be creative. Okay, they're just sitting there watching the same thing go by. All right. Oh, hey, Mike, I need you to work on this. Oh, cool. What Assassin's Creed is this? Oh, this is the Japanese one? Okay. What's this one? Oh, this is the Egypt one? Okay. Right? That's all it is. That's all it is.
Been the same thing for over a decade because Activision refuses to give them the time to improve it. Why? Because they have to ship a new Call of Duty every single year. Activision, from my perspective, is the poster child for abandoning single-player games and choking the life out of its own studios. They absorbed Neversoft and Radical Entertainment and then sent those developers into the Call of Duty mines. They killed creativity in exchange for predictable assembly line production, and now their games are suffering as a result of that.
EA was like, hey, we have 4 studios. We have 4 studios. Can we all put them on a new live service game of Battlefield, the next Battlefield? Let's take 4 studios. Instead of taking 3 studios and making, I don't know, something different, no, let's take all 4 studios and make one live service game. Let's hope.
Why not let them go back and develop another Tony Hawk Pro Skater or a new prototype sequel? Let Raven Software go make another Singularity. Let's see how that experimentation and creativity could be used in Call of Duty or maybe an entirely new IP in the future. This is why live service games are failing today. These companies are completely out of touch. Their games are devoid of creativity. They're pumping out copy-paste corporate slop that's only temporarily relevant before players inevitably just burn out from it.
Look, as much as I love Marvel Rivals, okay, Overwatch did it. No one could figure out what to do for Overwatch because they thought they had to make original characters. Marvel Rivals came and said, we're going to do it with Marvel characters. And now you're going to watch so many other IPs, right? Hasbro right now is going, can we make a Transformers game like this? Can we make a G.I. Joe game like this? What about if we took Looney Tunes and made this from WB? What about if we did this with the DC? They're going to think about it every single which way because this is now popular. So they got to compete with this, not compete with Overwatch anymore. Overwatch was a hero shooter, but if they wanted to compete with it, they had to make their own characters. That was too much effort. Too much effort. Okay, so now NetEase was like, what about if we just do this with Marvel? Everyone's like, oh, it's genius, right? Characters are already there. Backstory's already there. Powers are already there. You just got to implement it on the game format. So now all these other IPs and all these other business owners are like, what IP do we own that we can make into Overwatch / Marvel Rivals? Watch. 2 years from now, you're going to watch so many. What's happening right now? Extractions. Before it was Battle Royale.
Live service isn't inherently bad, but the way that these executives have been handling it, well, it's a slow, creativity-draining death march. Single-player games, standalone titles, or traditional games are what built this industry. Live service games are just a product of that. They are what taught developers how to connect with players. They gave studios the time to understand what players actually want, to build mechanics that resonate, and to develop the skills that were necessary for them to succeed later on and create new things, like live service games. But these executives don't see it that way. They don't see developers as creators. They see them as factory workers, assembling the same generic product over and over again until they're burned out. And that's the real problem here. How creative do you think a developer can be if they've only ever worked on Call of Duty? What happens when
You can't. If you play the same thing every single day, as I said earlier today, if you eat the same thing all the time, you get desensitized, man. You get bored of it. You're just like, I'm done. What's for dinner today? It's pizza. Oh, okay. A brand new person working, this is why they get rid of developers, right? 18 months, this is why they get rid of them, because they're probably disgruntled at that point. They've been working on the exact same thing for 18 months. They just pop them out, grab a new tissue. Hey, bud, welcome to EA. Welcome to Activision. Welcome to Ubisoft. Oh, man, I'm a big fan of Ubisoft games. And it's always fun when you don't know how the pudding's made. But then when you have to start making pudding, you're like, I don't want to fucking look at pudding.
You go to ask them to make something else. They can't. Haven't you guys noticed that every single time we see a game that's made by former Destiny, Call of Duty, or Battlefield developers, it just ends up looking like the same game that they've always made? The reason Activision doesn't make new games is because they forgot how to. And it's not just them.
That's a good quote. The reason you don't see new games is because they forgot how to make them.
Franchise fatigue is killing single-player games too. Every Ubisoft open-world game feels like another Assassin's Creed reskin because nobody is allowed to branch out and try something new.
Yep.
But instead of course-correcting, EA, Activision, Ubisoft, and every other major publisher,
they are course-correcting. They're course-correcting in the way of, how much is a microtransaction? Oh, it's $10? Well, let's make it 20 and then say put it on sale for 15. We just made $5 extra. Sweet.
is chasing this model, and they're betting everything on short-term profit. And while it's worked before, and it might be working now in some cases, it's not going to work forever. Eventually, they are going to run out of players that are willing to put up with the same tired games and developers that are willing to make them. It really is a death march because they can't take their foot off the gas. They cannot stop.
Nope.
They have to keep moving forward. They have to keep.
If you're let me take an example of YouTube. When someone gets a video that is hot, whatever it is, okay, let's say they're talking about I don't know, Veilguard, when Veilguard was hot. If I'm a creator and I made a video about Veilguard and Veilguard's video took off, okay, millions of views on my video. As a content creator, where do you think my next video is going to go? Because YouTube rewards that, right? So if my video made 1 million views and I made a couple $1,000 off of that video, where do you think my next video is going to be? Right? But I started my channel because I wanted to be artistic and tell you what I really thought. But then I saw the paycheck, right? That's what most YouTubers do. They see the paycheck, and I don't hate them for this in any way, shape, or form. I'm just giving you an example, okay? And Veilguard gave them and bought them a brand new car, all right? Bought them a brand new car. Their next video is going to be about the same thing. And their next video is going to be about the exact same thing. And their next video about the exact same thing. Because once you start making it, you're going to continue putting your foot on that gas pedal because that is the minimal viable product with the biggest outcome. So you're going to keep making that same content over and over and over until it starts to show a diminishing return. And then you find the next thing. And that's exactly how the video game space works. That's how the movie industry space works. They find that one hit title and they just keep making sequel after sequel after sequel, right? They find that one video game that makes a shit ton of money, Madden, FIFA, or FC25. I keep calling it FIFA. It'll always be FIFA, okay? And they just keep putting their foot on that gas. Call of Duty, keep making Call of Duty.
Keep making more live service games. They have to command all of their attention because if they don't, the investors are going to leave. And we can't have that. And the CEO, he's not going to make that big old bonus that he wants. Lord knows they don't suffer from any consequences for their actions. They don't think about the long-term consequences of those actions on the companies that they have right now. They just rot them out and jump ship the second they get the chance to. And what ends up happening as a result is the longer that they pay attention to these games, the longer that these games command their full attention, well, the more damage it's doing to their audience because they're losing touch with that audience. They're not developing anything new. They're not giving their developers any creative.
One more thing, and I'll back this up for a second. Everyone thinks that live service games are continuing to be super successful. But if they have like a 10% drop, but the company then just raises the prices of the microtransactions by 10%, right? So then the 10% drop of player base, but the 10% increase of the cosmetics, or 10% meaning they put more cosmetics in there or more whatever it is, that makes up for the people that are leaving. Because the people that are paying, 20% makes 80%, right? 20% of the population is buying a microtransaction, which makes 80% of the profit. So if they lose 10% of their population, but 20% of the population is making 80% of the money, they just raise that microtransaction up, or they put one extra microtransaction cosmetic in there that's $10 more than it was before because it looks cooler or it's got flames on it. And that's the way they make up for it.
freedom to grow and be better at their job or to improve the engine or whatever it might be. And what do you think is going to be the end result of that? Well, the foundation of some of these long-standing live service games is completely rotted out. It's just waiting for somebody else, a slight wind to come by and just topple the whole thing over. You know, I was wondering something recently. Why live service games feel so homogenous? And I know a lot of you guys have already experienced this. You look and you see a new live service game come out and you're like, that looks a lot like this other game, but just reskinned or a different theme or whatever it might be. And the reason why is because they just keep cycling these developers around. Concord, brought to you by the developers of Destiny 2, making Destiny 2 combat but boring and with ugly characters.
Right. It's the people that worked at Destiny making Destiny-like characters, but just shittier.
We're getting Temu versions of games rather than anything genuinely.
Oh, that's a good one. Temu version. It's a Temu version.
Fresh or new. 2K just fired the director of Project Ethos. Never heard of it? That's why they fired him. It's ex-Call of Duty veterans that are making a Fortnite copy, just a straight-up clone, but diverse. Sound familiar at all?
Oh, man, I'm sure that game's going to come out. It's going to be very successful.
To you guys? I mean, Xbox just hired the marketing and operations director of Concord for Halo.
Why? Think of this, right? You're only as good as your last job. And if Concord bombed and was out for 12 days, why would you hire anybody from Concord? Especially the lead.
Guys, I mean, Xbox just hired the marketing and operations director of Concord for Halo. Because that's going to work. The biggest issue that I see in these long-standing live service games is that they are losing control of their games, they're losing touch with their audience, and they are unable to do anything about it because they just refuse to stop. Because all of these games, I'm telling you guys, go look, every single one of them is suffering from the same issues because it's the same people making the same game with the same updates, and they just cannot fix anything. They can never change, they can never evolve it, and they're just waiting for somebody else, some other competition to come by and just knock them out of their seat. And that's exactly what's going to end up happening. And the cycle is just going to continue over again. And in the case of like EA or Ubisoft or Activision, in their greed, they have stripped the forest bare. They have drained the talent, so there's not even a drop left. And now it's all going up in flames. And something that I don't think they realized, I don't know how they didn't see this coming, the fire's burning a little bit faster than they probably imagined. And the reason why, and it's something that I'm surprised a lot of other people haven't taken notice of, but did you guys know that in 2024 alone, PlayStation had 25 live service games hit their store?
I didn't know that. 25 live service games in PlayStation Store. I didn't know that.
That's just on one platform. You add Steam into that pool? My God. They all want the biggest catch. Too many fishermen, not enough fish.
Yeah, they're all... I said this earlier, right? 1, 2, 5 live service games, cool. Like across the whole thing. But you got 25 on one platform? Cool. Where are you getting? Right? If I fish every day, like he's saying, right? If I fish by myself in a pond, right? I got fish to last me a year. But if everybody comes and fishes in my pond, fish are gone. There's no fish left. What are you doing?
The pond isn't getting any bigger.
Yeah.
It's drying up. See, the problem with chasing trends is that eventually the market is going to reach a saturation point, and live service gaming has already hit its breaking.
I don't think people understand saturation points. I truly don't. I'm not saying legendary drops. He's bringing it up, right? I don't think businesses understand saturation points. I don't think consumers understand saturation points. Someone will tell you a game is like very successful, or because they're playing the game, they think it's good. But the business side looks at it and goes, "We only have 10,000 people," and they're like, "Well, it's still got 10,000 people." From a player perspective, you're like, "Yeah, it's got 10,000 people." From a business side, they look at it and go, "We've had only 10,000 people. We've played it this long. We haven't grown. Okay, we're at our saturation point. We need to be at 15,000. Okay, not 10." And everyone's like, "Well, just it's still a good game." It's like you understand your preference as a consumer and their preference as a company are two different things. They need to have growth. Again, not like this, okay, but they have to have some sort of growth. Otherwise, it plateaus. And when it plateaus, that is their saturation point. And they have to change something. Otherwise, the plateau can dip. Okay? So if it plateaus and then dips, they start freaking out. But they don't ever want it to dip. They'll just cut its losses. They'll be like, "Nah, it's plateaued for 3 months. We're done. Close the studio down. See you next one." Okay. They need some sort of raise up, but their raise up can't be like a 5-degree move. It's got to be like a 90-degree move. Otherwise, it's not successful for them because they are greedy.
Point. The industry's gold rush towards live service games was fueled by the idea of seemingly endless profits from games like Fortnite, Warzone, and Genshin Impact, but as more games have flooded the ecosystem, the reality has become painfully obvious that players are spread too thin, and the industry has created an environment in which, well, nothing feels permanent. When PUBG first popularized the Battle Royale genre, its audience was locked in. There was nowhere else to go, but now that audience is disseminated across countless games: Fortnite, Warzone, Apex Legends, Hunt Showdown, Escape from Tarkov, and the list keeps growing. There's more and more competitors. The same thing is now going on with hero shooters. Once Overwatch ruled unchallenged, but now Marvel Rivals has stolen its thunder. Valve's Deadlock is quietly making improvements, and niche competitors are picking away at the audience that's left. And here's the core issue: the more options
it's like vultures. It's like vultures, right? The one person makes a thing, the vulture sees and starts picking and starts to, we're the carcasses, by the way. Okay, we're the carcass on the ground, and one developer starts to pick at you because they're like, hey, look at this. And then other vultures start joining the party, and there's not enough. It's the same analogy as the fish in the pond
that players have, the harder it becomes for any single game to retain its audience. In the past, live service games had a natural monopoly. Players stayed where they had to. Now, the second a game stumbles, well, there's already another game that's ready to take its place. Now, what makes matters even worse is that these companies...
It's the tissue. Companies
haven't done anything to actually hold on to their audiences outside of trying to trap them in loops of sunk cost fallacy. They don't build communities, they build financial incentives to stay. Flooding the games with battle passes, FOMO-driven events, and expensive cosmetics, but there's a massive flaw to that system. Once players leave, they don't come back. And why would those players come back? Because it's not like any of these games are doing anything for them in the first place. They're not delivering on their needs. They're not fixing issues.
We have good graphics. Come on, you don't want to play the good graphics? We have really sexy cosmetics. You guys don't want to pay $25 for cosmetics?
Their game. Heck, they're not even keeping up with industry best practices. Newer live service games like Marvel Rivals have non-expiring battle passes, allowing you to be able to progress it at your own pace. Games like Helldivers 2.
Well, you still have to buy it. You still have to buy Marvel Rivals Pass to make it non-expiring. It does expire, but if you buy it, it doesn't expire.
We're pushing regular, meaningful content updates.
Halo never expires. You can work on any battle pass that you want, okay, at your leisure,
without the need for excessive monetization. You can earn it all just by playing the game. Meanwhile, Fortnite, the king of live service games, is constantly reinventing itself, offering massive collaborations, completely fresh mechanics, and incentives that actually feel rewarding. What have these long-standing live service games done to keep up? Almost nothing. Call of Duty, Apex Legends, Destiny 2, they've spent years raising their prices, removing content, and doubling down on aggressive monetization while offering less in return. They aren't rewarding players' loyalty, they're punishing it. And I know this firsthand.
Oh, yeah, I know. If you're a loyal gamer to that company, they don't give two shits about you. They're looking for new acquisitions. They're looking for new players. How do we capture the new players? Because again, they don't want to be a saturation point. They grab your money, move on. If you're bored, tough shit. We're looking for the next new person to come in that hasn't bought that stuff yet.
And when live service games were fresh, I spent money all the time. I'd buy skins, battle passes, cosmetics, all of it. But the more games that got released, I realized that none of it really mattered. The skins, the battle passes, the digital trinkets that I spent money on, all of this stuff was meaningless the moment that I stopped playing that game.
That's right. That's right. And this is why I don't usually buy a battle pass or game pass or anything like that, right? I'm not buying a battle pass to reward myself with the cosmetics for a free-to-play game. I give them the money because they made a game, they sold the game to me, okay? And if the game is free, I put my time. My time is my currency for that. And if I put enough time in and complete your battle pass, my gift to you, not my reward to myself, is that I pay for the battle pass. I don't really give a shit about the skins and stuff, okay? Because if I stop playing that game right after I pay for that battle pass, I'm never going to see that skin again, okay? I'm never going to turn the game on. I'm just going to buy. It's like I bought the game. I bought the game. I played the game. Old school game. You buy the game. You play the game. You put the game down. Live service games is you play the game. You buy microtransactions, and the way I look at it is, I play the game, I enjoy the game, I put 100 hours in the game, I'll give you $10, I'll give you $20, I'll give you $30. I will spend the amount that I think your game is worth with buying your microtransactions. But that microtransaction is not for me to be like, it's a bonus. Cool, I have Wolverine's skin now. Okay, but I'm not buying that ahead of time, right? I buy that when you earn it. When you give me enough time in the battle pass, then I will give you money.
I moved from game to game, I stopped spending almost entirely because I knew I would inevitably leave. Why invest in something so temporary? Look at Call of Duty. They've tied Warzone to every new entry release in the series, meaning that every single year that there's a new Call of Duty that comes out, all the skins that you purchased, all the camos that you earned, all the progress that you've made, well, it's all wiped entirely clean. Every year, players are starting out in a brand new microtransaction ecosystem where their past investments, both time and money, have been made entirely meaningless because Activision doesn't value your money.
They don't not value your money. They don't value your time. They don't value your time. Rule number 1, respect the player's time.
What is going to be the long-term effect on those players? This is the environment that the industry has created. In their greedy attempt to chase infinite growth, they've now turned every single game into a temporary investment, eventually conditioning players to never fully commit because, well, they know.
So apparently Legendary Drop saw somewhere down the line the wizard behind the curtain, right? He saw the wizard behind the curtain, was like, why am I buying these microtransactions when it's pointless? Because I'm not going to see it anymore. He saw it. Now, if you want to call him disgruntled, so he's awoken, right? He's basically Keanu Reeves in The Matrix, right? He knows the Matrix is going on now.
Something new is right around the corner. And while we might not be seeing the full effects of this yet, I think we're starting to see the signs of it. EA's been doing the same thing with their sports games, and it's no wonder that year over year, live service money and player retention is falling. Players spend time and money in their Ultimate Team modes only to have that completely erased with the next installment. That's why I think it's nearly impossible for some of these struggling live service games to recover because they've trained their audiences to leave the moment that things get stale. They've made core features.
Yes, that's actually a really good point what he just made there. Let me rewind that for a second.
For some of these struggling live service games to recover because they've trained their audiences to leave the moment that things get stale. They've made core features feel like an afterthought while monetization takes a priority. They've made every single game feel like a disposable experience. So why should players stay or spend money on them? This kind of loops back to the original discussion I was having before on the long-term consequences of live service games, how the longer they go on, the more the industry loses sight of what actually...
Right, the more they go on, the worse it gets.
...brings players in. Most of these companies didn't start out making live service games. They had to make games that delivered value up...
Make a game, sell a game.
...up front. They forgot how to do that. They used to have to make an impact on day one, and they had to hold on to that player's attention immediately. They had to be worth the money, because if they weren't, they failed. That sense of urgency and respect for...
This is why free-to-play games work so well when they come out, though. Right? This is why free-to-play games work so well. Because they have to work. And because they work, it's like back in the day when you got a game and it was complete. Free-to-play games have to work to keep you interested in the game. And if it's fun to play, you're going to keep playing it. And then if you have fun playing it, then you'll spend microtransactions.
For the audience is gone when you turn a game into a routine. Now, beyond losing players in existing games, the oversaturation of live service games is making it nearly impossible to launch new ones. There are only so many players, and only so many people have the time, money, and patience to dedicate to a single game, yet these companies keep flooding the market with the same type of game competing for the same limited audience. Think about it. Sony planned over a dozen live service games to launch between 2024 and 2025. Where did they think those players would come from? And better yet, how did they expect for any of these games to be profitable when you're making so many live service games that you're not only competing with the industry, you're now competing with yourself. You are cannibalizing your own games. What did they expect? How did they think flooding the market with dozens of competing...
Right. Tell me how Battlefield's going to be successful when a battle royale in their own ecosystem of Apex Legends is there. Right? On top of the other battle royales that are there.
Live service games, many of them sharing the same monetization models, gameplay loops, and even development DNA, was going to work. Look, live service games need long-term investment from players. They need dedicated time, engagement, and spending to be successful. Yet Sony and a lot of these other publishers keep trying to go with this shotgun approach, launching multiple at once as if players are going to be able to juggle them all. All of these companies are cannibalizing themselves, splitting their own potential audience across too many...
They're cannibalizing themselves, but they don't care because the fast buck that they're making.
Projects, too many games, and too many financial asks. You can't build a thriving long-term player base when every 6 months you're throwing a new live service game into the ring and expecting it to gain traction. These companies have bet everything on endless live service growth, and instead, well, they've created an unsustainable arms race where games don't have a chance to even establish themselves in the market before somebody else is there trying to take their place. And the funny thing is, I've already been proven right, because what was the end result of Sony's big push into live service? Well, over 10 of the known projects that Sony has made for live service have been canceled, including the absolute dumpster fire that was Concord, with thousands of jobs lost and hundreds of millions of dollars torched for nothing. The only survivors, Bungie's Concord and Fair Game.
Mind you, I don't personally care, right? And you can call me an asshole or whatnot. I don't care all these people lose their job. I didn't put them in that predicament, okay? As a gamer, I just want to play the game, okay? Now, obviously, if I was a developer and I lost my job, that would devastate me because you got to pay bills. But as the gamer, I don't care that you lost your job. I'm not the one that put you in that predicament, and it's not my job to bail you out of that predicament, okay? It's the company that threw you and sacrificed you to the wolves so they could better themselves. So you can't have a problem with me because I didn't buy your game. Okay, you have a problem with the company that threw you to the wolves because you didn't make a game. You sold a product that you didn't believe in, and you were just trying to make profit instead of making a good game and then selling that game for profit.
Games, which is effectively Concord 2 Payday Boogaloo, and we know exactly how that's going to end. Personally, I can't wait to farm it. Thank you, Sony, for the content. The only game that they actually found success with, Helldivers 2, a game that was a breakout hit, yet Sony found a way to be able to sabotage themselves, wanting to force players into PlayStation login, but luckily they ended up walking that back and the game is recovered. But I'm going to take a wild guess and say that game is not the success that they were trying to bet on. But this was Sony's big bet. They thought live service was the future, and out of the 12 plus games that they were working on, or at least the ones that we know of, only one of them found moderate success. Now they're just stuck cleaning up the wreckage. The reality is that this industry is too competitive and too unpredictable to bet everything on live service. These companies think they're diversifying themselves by flooding the market with live service games, but in reality, they're all just making the exact same game. Every game has a battle pass. Every game wants you to grind for unlocks. Every game wants you to log in daily. And when everything is the same, nothing stands out.
Exactly right. Exactly right. The reason Helldivers stands out amongst the rest is because it's a co-op, right? It's a co-op, and you get to play with your friends. Starship Troopers should actually do better, but it's not really a full-fledged game. It's still buggy as hell. No pun intended there with the bugs. But that games like that are different, and that's why they stick out.
And the worst part of it is that these companies know that the gaming audience isn't infinite. They just don't want to admit it. That's why we're seeing PlayStation and Xbox slowly abandon console exclusivity, because they need every sale that they can get. Square Enix and other publishers are finally putting their biggest franchises on multiple platforms because exclusivity just isn't sustainable anymore. Xbox is putting Forza Horizon 5 and the Gears of War collection on PlayStation, and allegedly they're also going to end up bringing the Master...
Well, let's be honest. Forza Horizon 5 in this specific scenario, very good game, very good car arcade game. It's been out for what, 4 years, 5 years? On the Xbox, it's hit its saturation point. Okay, it's been 5 years on this platform. It's its saturation point, so they want to make more money. Where do you go? You go to the other platforms, right? It's 5 years after the game came out.
Master Chief Collection over. I'm all for ending console exclusivity, and honestly, Xbox is making a smart move in doing this, but let's not pretend that this is happening because of some consumer-first mentality. This is happening because these companies are desperate.
Not only are they desperate, but that's the way it's going. And when the industry decides where it's going, that's where it's going. It doesn't matter about you and me. They want to make all digital, they're going to go all digital. They want to put all their stuff on all the platforms, they're going to put all their stuff on all the platforms.
Overexpanded, overestimated their own success, and now they're scrambling to fix the mess that they've created. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record at this point, but I don't think that video games and publicly traded companies are a sustainable combination. Games are nuanced, creative projects. They do not fit into the corporate mold of ever-increasing stable profits. Investors and executives thought that live service games were the golden ticket. They thought that this was the first way to industrialize an industry that was, by nature, unpredictable. But the reality is, it's impossible. Every game is a risk. Every design choice, every mechanic, every update, they all carry uncertainty. You need
look, if you're an artist, every picture you draw doesn't mean it's going to be a hit. This is why artists, when they sell one picture, it becomes famous. That's what they're known for. Actors do lots of different roles. There's that one role they take that they're remembered for. And if they're really good actors, they're remembered for more than one role.
Need that in this industry. That's how games grow. That's how these successful live service games came into existence in the first place. You cannot manufacture guaranteed success in an industry built on creativity and innovation. They're trying to turn gaming into something predictable, and it's like forcing a cylinder through a square hole. It just doesn't work. These games need to evolve. They need to be different. Developers need varied experiences. Players need varied experiences. But instead of fostering creativity, these companies have suffocated it, dumping all of their resources into the same few live service titles year after year. Eventually, they're going to hit a wall. They're going to realize that there's no fuel left in the tank, and when that moment comes, they won't have any creative ability to make anything new to pull them out of that death spiral because they've spent all their time maintaining the old. But the bigger issue here is that the industry is expanding faster than the player base. The number of games keeps increasing. The number of customers isn't growing fast enough. There's too much supply, not enough demand. And it's not just AAA publishers that are running the show anymore. Smaller studios, indie developers, and solo creators are all...
Indie developers have always been there. It's just been a smaller group of people. And now, because there's way more gamers, there's more people starting to pick up indie games. It's still... I think in my... What I'm saying right now, it's the same percentage. So let's say indie games are like 15% of the market. They're still 15% of the market, but the market's grown. It went from like 1 million or 100 million people to 200 million people. It's still 15%.
All claiming their share. Developer tools are getting easier to use. The barriers to...
And with social media, you know about independent games more often. That's all.
Entry are lower than ever, and these corporate giants just aren't competing with each other anymore. They're competing with the entire gaming landscape. And that's a fight that I don't think they're prepared to win, and I don't think it's a fight they can. There are so many factors working against these live service games that I'm surprised that we haven't seen more issues pop up sooner than this. We've seen some of them over time, gradually, slowly but surely, but I think it's all starting to pile up, and it's going to turn into a massive fire here in just a minute, especially with some of these larger established franchises, because keep in mind, what is Activision without Call of Duty?
Good question. What is Activision without Call of Duty? The World of Warcraft or Diablo. That's it. What has Activision done? Activision used to have a shit ton of games. What do they have now? What do they have? Right? They had the Transformer IPs. They had the Ultimate Alliance and stuff. Like, what is Activision and Blizzard? What are they? That's Blizzard? Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is, if they don't have those games, what other games do they have? They don't have anything. There is no other games that Activision's working on. I remember, you could close your eyes right now. I remember Atari games with Activision logo on it. Right? Hundreds of Activision titles across generations of stuff. And now what do you have? Get Call of Duty. I gotta look it up. What do they have in the last, I don't know, decade? (2013) Deadpool. That's it. 2013 Deadpool. That's the last. Everything else is Call of Duty. Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty. That is crazy. Hold on. I'm looking to see what they have here. Activision games from 2020 to now. Tony Hawk Pro Skater Remaster came out. Sekiro Die Twice. But that's from FromSoft. That's not Activision. No, that's not from Activision. What's Activision? Oh, I guess From Software was part of their thing. Toys for Bob, Vicarious Vision. Yeah, it's crazy, man. They got nothing. So many games. The last almost decade, they have nothing. They used to do the Cybertron games, the Spider-Man games, Guitar Hero. They got nothing.
What is EA without their sports games or without Apex?
Oh, EA is nothing. EA is nothing. They have Star Wars. Don't get me wrong. They got the contract with Star Wars. They got Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order. They have Battlefront 1 and 2. But they don't have much. Just the sports games.
Apex Legends. What is Ubisoft without, was it Rainbow Six Siege? Like, these are the things that are holding these companies together. And without them, they are in a world.
Oh, I know they published it, Ghost. What I'm saying, Dupless. What I'm saying is games they've created. What do they do? Nothing. They're in trouble. If Call of Duty ever fumbles the ball and they fail, what does Activision have? Nothing.
World of trouble. They are in a world of trouble. And how could you not see this coming? You could take any factor and point it directly at the live service industry and it becomes a problem. Let's look at economics as an example. If I go to buy a video game, I don't really regret that purchase. I don't feel bad for making it if it's a game that I wanted, as long as it's good and it doesn't have any problems,
right.
Which that usually never ends up being a problem because I don't pre-order games or anything like that. I wait to make sure it's actually good before I purchase it. Well, I never have a problem with that. If I go to buy a microtransaction, I always feel dirty. I feel weird. I need to shower afterwards because it's not necessary. And if it is necessary, if it's part of power progression or whatever it is, a gacha game or something like that, then it feels even worse because I don't want to be buying those kind of things. Those are the
I've never personally had a regret of buying a video game that was a single player game. Or I should just say a game that wasn't a non-live service game. I've never had a regret of buying a game because I buy the game because I like the game and I play it regardless. It could be a shitty game, okay, but I could like that game and I have no regrets of it. A live service game, I had regrets buying Division, right, and pre-ordering Division 1. That was the eye-opening to me. That was the the peel the curtain back and see the wizard behind the curtain, right? Division 1 was my first and ever regret. I don't even regret buying Battleborn. Battleborn got closed down, but I don't regret buying it. I enjoyed that game. I've never regretted buying a game that I like. I've regretted buying or playing a live service game.
Exact opposite of the microtransactions I want to see in games, and then it feels even worse as a result of it. Now go and add any type of economic strife on top of that. Raising prices, inflation, people having a hard time finding jobs or whatever. Now they're going to make it even more difficult for them to be able to justify those purchases in those games, regardless of whatever their price is, because they know it's temporary. That brings on another problem, because the fact that these experiences are so temporary in the first place. The market is flooded with these games. There's so many different live service games to play. Look how many gotchas you can play, how many first person.
Yeah, I don't regret, even though it's a live service game, Water, I was happy with the campaign and the characters that were in the game. I enjoyed that game. I have 1,000 hours over 1,000 hours in that game. I don't regret that game. Right? I could have stopped after the single player aspect of it, and I would have been fine.
Person shooters or battle royales or whatever. I don't feel like spending money on this stuff because chances are I'm not really going to give a shit about it in about a month or 2 or 6 or whatever it might be. I know I'm going to walk away from it. You got games like Call of Duty or the sports games that literally just erase all of the money that you spend regardless. So
I hate
what's
the
the
sport.
point
I
of
stopped buying
spending
sports
money over
games
there?
decades ago.
Yeah. It's inevitable at this point that these games are going to run into some serious issues. And again, I'm surprised that it hasn't happened sooner. I think the real reason why we've seen such a big push into live service, because I'm sitting here, I'm like, there's no way that they couldn't see the long-term effects of live service games. And then I realized they do. They know it. Because all these decisions are being pushed by CEOs that rarely ever face consequences for their actions, that are there to drive up revenue as much as they possibly can, drain the well, make money for the investors, and then jump ship as fast as they can. So then they can leave it for the next guy to find out that the whole thing's about to collapse, and then they get to be the guy that can try to save the company, if they can. Or you can be like Bobby Kotick, and you can just sell the company to Microsoft and look like a hero.
Golden parachute for Bobby Kotick.
Good job, Bobby. There's so much more here that I feel like I haven't even scratched the surface of this. I'm going to do the deep dive video on Call of Duty that's going to be coming up pretty soon. I might end up doing that next week maybe, but that's going to uncover more of these issues, I think. That's a really interesting case with that game. But man, I really do feel like it is just the disposable nature of these games. That's probably the biggest thing that's becoming probably the biggest issue for most of them, is that there's just too many of these games in the market. They're replacing each other too quickly, and everybody is constantly looking for the next game to jump ship to. And over time, not only are you going to have all these disposable games, but you're also going to have the audience that is spread out so much that most of these games likely aren't even going to be sustainable in the first place.
Right.
You're not going to be able to make enough money to hold on to enough developers to even make content to keep players playing those games in the first place. I think that's a big problem that they're going to run into. Too many games. Like I said before, you got too many fishermen, not enough fish. And that's going to become a really, really big problem. And at the exact same time, the other thing is that I just think that live service games kind of, fly a flag in the face of like how these studios got started in the first place. Because the only reason that they got to make these live service games is because, well, they made single player or multiplayer experiences that weren't live service games before. And that's how they learned to get the ability to even pull players into their games.
Crowded says, real quick, he says, this is why I don't want PvE in Marvel Rivals. It could end up being just as grindy live service feeling feature. Here's where I'll push back a little bit on that. Because it's a live service game and because it's a free-to-play game house, I think if they add a PvE mode to this game, I feel like it could actually get more value of why you would buy one of the skins, right? Because the power fantasy is, if I want to be Captain America, and I want to be Captain America, I want to be Chris Evans Captain America, and I buy the new Captain America skin, where now I'm Infinity Ward Captain America, and now I'm playing inside a game where I get to punch MODOK in the face or go up against Doom. There'd be more reason for me to buy a skin to then be that character in the game. Where if I was just PvP, I'm using the skin, especially in first-person games. It doesn't really fucking matter why you buy skins. I don't get it. But at least in third person, at least I'm being the character that I want to be, right? It's that moment of, I am Captain America, I am Iron Man, I am Luna Snow, I am Juggernaut, whoever they put in the game in the future. I think the PvE is on top of what the game's already offering, right? I don't think it's going to be grindy. I think it's just more of a game mode. Like they put the Doom, solo type of every man for themselves type of mode in there, which is a fun other mode to go in to just have more fun in the game that you're already having fun with.
To make fans, to create this ecosystem that they have. And the further they get away from that, and the more they only pay attention to this byproduct of the industry, the more they're going to lose sight of what actually got them there in the first place. And when I look at the quality of the games and the quality of the content that's delivered to players, I'm seeing a direct correlation. I don't know about you. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, share it with your friends, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below Follow me on Twitch. Link is in the description. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe. I'll catch you guys in the next one.
There you go. Check out Legendary. That's a good video. That was a good video. It said a lot of stuff, right? Go give it a like. His description, in the description down below, you can get his channel. Click at the link. Go there. Give it a like. Okay? Give it a like. Give it a sub if you don't know, if you want to sub to his channel. Krabsy says these videos get made almost quarterly at this point. Kind of ironic given that the topic says games repeat themselves stuff over and over. I mean, I guess, sure. Right? I mean, I said it earlier, Krabsy. If a metric on YouTube does well, people are going to make the video again because it does well. It is what it is. It is what it is. The metrics say it does well. So if his last video that he did made 400,000 views, and this one's at almost 200,000 already, guess what? He's going to make another one because he's making money off of it. That's how it works. And the people that want to watch it, meaning the people that are watching his videos want to watch more of these videos. He's giving what the viewers want. Imagine. I know. It's crazy. I like watching his videos, and he makes more of these videos. Crazy how it works. I always laugh at people that say and I'm not saying you, Krebsy, but people on Twitter are like, why am I getting this feed of stuff? It's like because you showed interest in that feed, right? So if you're watching a political channel, you're gonna get more political videos. If you're interacting with a political tweet, you're gonna get more political tweets. That's how it works. And if you keep interacting with that thing, then more things are going to be created. So YouTubers look at it and go, oh, wow, this video of me shitting on Call of Duty is getting a lot of views. Maybe I should shit on Call of Duty a little bit more. Waterbear says, I wonder how many GTA 6 release date videos will be dropped as soon as they announced it. Everyone's going to jump on that bandwagon. We'll show it on the channel and talk about it. Of course, why not? All right, let's see what's happening over here on Twitter. So more Florence Pugh. Yeah, we're going to talk every day about how Florence Pugh is less attractive than Scarlett Johansson. Every day, dog. You can come here every day and we'll talk about it. Until it gets too old. And then we'll move on. I want GTA 7 release date video. Yeah. Just skip over 6 and we'll go straight to 7. I brought it up last night. I think they should just close down the business and have GTA Day on release day. Like it's a national holiday. Just close it down. It's National GTA Release Day. I'm okay with it. Dog's okay with it. Like he's on the bandwagon. Why do you hurt me? I mean, if my opinion hurts you, I'm sorry. If my opinion hurts you, I'm sorry. All right, let's go. Let's see the morning scroll here. Let me scroll through and see what's happening on Twitter. It's been a little slow the last couple days. We got the state of play happening this evening at 5 o'clock. So we'll talk about that tomorrow on the Daily Grind as well. Elden Ring, the Night Rain, release dates May 20th, I think. Elden Ring Night Rain Collector's Edition. Collector's Edition. Hold on. Let me bring it up. Elden Ring Night Ring Collector's Edition. $200. You get a nice badass statue. $200. What is it? What is it? Is it? $200. You get what does that do? How big is it? You get $200. You get the $189 version for the helmet. You get the $54 for the game. There you go. $200. Can I just buy the statue? Yeah, just the two things. About an average of about $100 an item. Like going to Costco. You got to average it out. Krebsy says Avowed will be around 75 gigs. Microsoft Studio Mojang is changing studio heads after the current boss decided to step down. May 30th is when Elden Ring Night Reign comes out. May 30th. Ash of Creations, new Desert Mount. That game's not even out yet, is it? Is it in early access or something? I don't remember that coming out. Okay, what do you think? What do you think? This is a good question. GameSpot wants to know. Drop your predictions for Captain America Brave New World. The first Captain America got a 66. The second got a 70. The third one got a 75. Do you think Captain America Brave New World will be higher or lower than 75? What do you guys think? Actually, here, we'll do a little poll. We'll do a little poll. Okay. Above or below? Will Captain America Brave New World be above a 75 or below? If it's above, it's the highest rated Captain America movie. Okay. It'll be the highest Captain America movie if it comes in above 75. We got 24 of you here. Come on, give it a little vote. I want to see what 24 of you guys think. Hmm. 40% of you. 5 votes. 6 votes. 67% so far below. I like how you guys are like, I don't know. I don't know. Based on the trailer, you guys think it's going to be better than Civil War. Civil War is the highest rated one at 75 on this particular for GameSpot. Do you think it'll be higher than 75? Here, let me look up. Let me look up the actual Rotten Tomato scores. Okay, there's no way it's gonna beat this, right? Okay, it's no way it's gonna beat this because Captain America: Civil War is a 90. Captain America: Winter Soldier is a 90. Captain America: First Avengers an 80. Okay, now GameSpot gave Civil War a 75. It was based off of their tweet. Okay, that was theirs. So you think that they are going to give this movie higher than Civil War, even though Civil War is literally like a 90%, right? I think it's even higher for fans. Yeah. Oh, fans gave it 89. So 89.9, that's pretty good, right? So it's there you go. Okay. Winter Soldier gave it 92 and a 90. So it's like a 91. Okay. And then Captain America: First Avenger, 75 to an 80, so it's like a 77. Okay. I think this latest movie is below this, in my opinion. It's below the first Captain America film, is where I think. The majority of you are gutless. Only 9 votes. 9 votes. 67% of you think it'll be below, and 30% of you think it's going to be above. Well, we'll see. We'll see in just a couple days. By Monday, we'll definitely know. So, oh, what a great movie. Spring training starting this week. I just see a clip of Major League Baseball. What a great movie. If you've never seen Major League Baseball, it's one of the best sports movies out there. Come on, Dorn. What's with this Olay shit? Let's see. YouTube person that usually wrong. Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer number 2 is expected to come out by March 31st, 2025. Likely February 25th with new gameplay footage and still no release date, which will be within trailer number 3 scheduled late summer. Okay, for potential likely on and potential launch date on November 18th as of start of pre-orders. I think that whole prediction is completely off, but we'll see. We'll see. IGN gave what a 5? The new movie a 5? They already have a review out for Captain America: Brave New World? So everyone's changing their vote now to below. IGN said a 5. Awesome. That can't be good. That can't be good. This game right here. Oh. This game right here looks like the game I'm playing right now. I mean, different graphics or whatnot, but it feels exactly like the game I'm playing right now, Eternal Stranded. Like you're running around in this wide open world, and it's just like these games are. Is this made on Unreal Engine 5? It's like another Breath of the Wild type of thing, you know? If it's a 5 from IGN, then it's a 10 in IRL. I don't know. I don't know. You think Brave New World is going to be like a 9 or a 10 because IGN gave it a 5. Dolphin says, yeah, 5 from IGN. It might be good now. It might be good now. That looks kind of cool. Oh, the game that was here is called Nightling. Nightling. Knightling. Nightling. I mean, I don't go with IGN ever. Water. I don't go with IGN ever. What the hell is this? No. Actually, I would do this. I would do this. Here, let's bring this up. I would 100% do this. Are you ready? I would do that. That's pretty cool. I just saw them chucking someone over the thing. I was like, what the hell is that? Water Bear says, nope. Nope. What if you hit the side of the concrete? Well, I guess you would be in pain. I guess you would be in pain. You can't think of stuff like that, Dolphin. Be like, what about if I jump out of a plane and my parachute doesn't open? I mean, you just do it. Death pain? I don't know if you would die. I mean, if you hit with your head, yeah, sure. But if you hit with your, like, collarbone be broke, arm be broke, leg might be broke, you know? I don't think you're going to die. Drink a lot of milk before you go. Those walls are very close. My God, you sound like a dad. But did you die? Yeah. Before you had kids, you're like, yeah, do it. But after you have kids, you're like, those walls look close. Looks dangerous. Dangerous now is stepping off too big of a gap of a step. Is too dangerous now. They're like, oh my God, that was 7 inches, not 6. Does this step feel too far apart? I could have killed myself. This step seems really close. Altern says, yes, Dad. I will be careful with my friends. No, Dad, we will not throw ourselves from a bridge. Well, that wasn't a bridge. So that wouldn't be a lie. That wasn't a bridge. It was a dam of some sort. Dolphin says, you're not lying. With my first son, I always have scenarios in my head of him dying walking down the street. Like I'm in Final Destination shit. We never child-proofed anything with our kid. Rebsy says, can we at least put people at the bottom in case I turn into a pinata? Like, get him down. Get him down. All right, let's read the little blurb here. Okay, this is from IGN. This is from IGN. The blurb says, Captain America Brave New World feels neither brave nor all that new. Recycling the Winter Soldier political thriller structure and even specific plot points is no way to set Sam Wilson apart from Steve Rogers on the big screen. I mean, that's really good catchy. Captain America Brave New World feels neither brave nor all of that new. Pretty good. What's going on, Argus? You're late as hell. Yeah, I'm almost done. Altern says that phrase should be on the small letter on the poster. This movie is no longer brave, nor is it new. We'll see how it goes. We will see. Maybe tomorrow I'll read the review. I mean, they have the review up right now. You guys want me to? Should we watch? Do they have a video review? Mediocre. Let me see. Building a new story is mostly old parts of nothing new in Hollywood, and certainly not far from Marvel Studios. A Brave New World feels especially Kraven in how it peaks around the events of the sacred timeline for structure with political thriller. Brave New World nakedly evokes 2014's Winter Soldier with a mess of altered motives, double agent, brainwashing, and of course a secret military outpost with villains lair in the basement. Take home a throw of the decade. Okay. With familiar drama driving, perspective of power, Brave New World Scourges Up is more rooted in the actors' performances than anything on the page. Yeah, they say Anthony Mackie does a good job. But I don't think it's going to save it. I don't think it's going to save it. Dolphin says that's surprising. Them downplaying someone who isn't white. Just saying. I just want to be disappointed with the Hulk movie. I mean, I don't think you're going to get that Hulk movie, Bebsy. I don't think we're going to get it. All right. We're done scrolling. We're done scrolling. What is this? Square Enix Wallace and Gromit special pack comes with Power Wash Simulator March 4th. There you go. Gromit, Wallace and Gromit coming to Power Wash Simulator. All right. I think that is going to do it for us here on today's show. If you guys like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. I thank you very much for the super chats today. We had the end poll here is below 73% of you said, with 15 votes, 73% said it'll be below 75 for Captain America, and 27% of you guys said it would be above 75%. That's from GameSpot, by the way. So you're saying above. GameSpot's going to give it above or below that. Thank you very much for the 2 super chats. I believe it was Sarge and Roadkill. Thank you very much for that. We'll be back tonight for Shooting the Shit with Sarge. I don't know what we're playing, but we'll be playing something. And then we'll be back tomorrow morning for the Daily Grind, which will talk about the state of play, which is happening this afternoon at 5 p.m. I'll watch it, but we'll talk about it tomorrow morning for the Daily Grind. And then the GXG is tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you guys come out for those things. Check out our past broadcasts as well. Check out all our other channels. We have Nerding with 30. We have Jamming, or 30 and Still Jamming. And then we have 30 and Still Gaming. So if you want to see some gameplay, go over to 30 and Still Gaming. If you want to listen to some music, go over to 30 and Still Jamming. And if you want to go to some entertainment news, go over to Nerding with 30 or watch our past broadcasts over here on 30 NSG. You guys have a great rest of your day, afternoon, or evening, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for hanging out. Peace.
Sunshine, rise and shine. The daily grind is here on time. With gaming, news, and fun galore, we'll chat and entertain once more. The coffee's hot, the mic is on. Jump in the chat, let's have some fun. From pixels small to stories grand, we bring the magic to your hand. We're nitty tune daily, don't you miss? Entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Controller ready, headset too. We've got the updates just for you. From late night streams to morning plays, we cover gaming all the ways. Controller ready, headset too. We've got the updates just for you. From late night streams to morning plays, we cover gaming all the ways. Laughs and news, our winning blend, the show with you, our dearest friend. Comments rolling, chats arrive, the daily grind, 5-star vibe. Tune in daily, don't you miss? Entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Good morning, sunshine, rise and shine. The daily grind is here on time. With gaming, news, and fun galore, we'll chat and entertain once more. The coffee's hot, the mic is on. Jump in the chat, let's have some fun. From pixels small to stories grand, we bring the magic to your hand. Tune in daily, don't you miss? Entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Come on in, your morning